Yo, 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 Froggystyles, Mediocre Trader, and Pantheon in the house. We're about to
What's up, everybody?
The market closed today, and we got some stuff that we want to discuss and things to talk about. So, Mediocre Trader, I'll let you, you're here, kick things off.
How's everybody doing today? It's Friday, same old thing, same old Friday. Stock market goes down, starts trading sideways. Max Pain comes into play. Same thing every Friday, it looks like. Looks like today AMC is going to close below 1550, between 15 and 1550. It looks like Max Pain looks like it's going to be around 1550. Froggy will get that information when he's done. But I looked at it before, so that's what I'm thinking. Let me see. We got information on the shareholder meeting. Let me pull that up real quick. I'll just kind of, where did I put it? It's got to be on this one. Oh, it's right here. Yes, we got the notice of annual meeting of stockholders to be held on June 16th, 2022. So we're going to pass that on over to Pantheon. And he's going to do some deep dive down into that for us on the Ernst & Young LLP company and some other things we're interested in.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ernst & Young is one of the biggest accounting firms in all the businesses out there use these guys. So we'll do a bit of a deep dive into these guys and kind of share some information as to what they're up to, who they are, where they're based out of, all that kind of stuff, and bring it back here to the show.
You ready, Froggy?
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Yeah, I just got everything all set up here. I got Space Call going. I got the chart pulled up. Max Pain's pulled up. So we should be ready to go. So let me get, well, we got so many things we can actually open up with. I could go into Max Pain, but I do want to give Pantheon a chance to speak here too, because he is the special guest after all. I've been wanting to bring him on the show, talk to him about stuff. I know there was an issue before that me and him were talking about something, and we got a chance to go backstage and talk about things. We got everything all resolved, and we want to I want to apologize to Pantheon personally for pretty much attacking him or attacking what he was talking about as far as a message, and reach out my hand and apologize to him as a man, and see if he'll forgive me for the things that we all said to each other and stuff like that.
And I want to do the same, and I want to put it out there that Pantheon did not have all the information. So I just want to put that out there, and that's where we're at. And I too apologize to you, Pantheon, for doing what happened. And it was nothing against you. We had to know.
I sincerely appreciate that from both of you gentlemen, and we're going to have a big hug it out for everybody, a love fest today. I'm also going to apologize to Froggystyles, and I'm going to apologize to Mediocre Trader. My video, Pantheon Radio 122, what I always attempt to do in my channel is be difficult or be hard on the issue, not the person, is what I say. And I thought that I had achieved that, but upon reflection, I did not achieve that. I failed at that in that video 122. And I said things that were not kind and not correct to Froggy and Mediocre. And then what I've done is I've removed Pantheon Radio episode 122. I've removed 123 and 124. They're all scrubbed off YouTube, because if anyone isn't aware of what's happening and they find that, they may misinterpret that as well. And it's important for me to make sure that I'm hard on the issue, not the person. So I've removed those 3 videos out of respect for these 2 gentlemen. And they have also removed the evidence number 2 video that they had done, which included the comments on me. And if I could just have a minute, I'll just go through just a few points that I just like to clarify for people, because I think it's quite important. For the record, I did not know anything about a potential hacker in the community until this information was recently brought up. I did not know anything about a potential rat in WebEx software until these gentlemen brought this information forward. I did not know what happened to Super Steven until April 27th when it was brought to my attention. And I was never given a clear offer to discuss with these gentlemen in the 2 days prior to evidence number 2 to communicate all of their information and their evidence to me. That was never expressed in those terms. That's something that if it had been expressed in those terms, I would have absolutely took it up, because my consistent message was, I just want the information, because I live in a world of you're innocent till proven guilty. And Tony Denaro and I were both excluded from the information, and there was a reason for it. Based on Tony and my having had prior interactions with Cam on CS Trades, there was a concern that perhaps we're part of what's being looked at. Now that has been cleared up, and I'll let these gentlemen state that, but we're innocent. There's nothing going on there. You can tell by my presence here and the fact that we are all getting along and we are all on the same page, myself, Froggy, and Mediocre. So again, I failed in being tough on the issue, not the person. I sincerely apologize to both of you two gentlemen. The videos have all been taken down. Hopefully everyone can just move forward in this. And I think that's pretty much it. Like, the burden of proof, Tony and I both felt hadn't been achieved. We've both been opened up to all of the information. And in fact, it's an evolving situation. And we're not going to get into the details of it here today. But Tony, myself, and I'm not speaking for Tony, but Tony, myself, Froggy, Mediocre, and potentially another person are going to do a full collaboration to bring forward all of the information and the evidence to the community to do what's best for the community. Thank you for giving me the floor for a few minutes, gentlemen.
Yeah, and I accept your apology too. And here's the thing, to be fair about it, like we pretty much intentionally didn't give Tony and Pantheon the information because we felt that we need to basically kind of question them to see where they stood. So it was more of a perspective thing where Pantheon wants facts and he wants them now. And we're over here saying, we're going to keep this from you because we're trying to figure out if we can trust you or not. And so is it like basically 6 to me, 9 to him? It's a matter of perspective. And we both had the same goal, which was to get to the matter at hand and solve the issue. And
the community.
When we sat down, we talked about it. We realized we were looking at the same enemy, the same problem, and we had the same concern, which is protecting the community. So it worked out perfect because, I mean, we all have the best intentions. So we, like I said, we sat down for a couple hours and hashed it out, figured out what was going on, and we agreed with pretty much everything, that we're doing this together.
Right.
100%.
We need what's best for the community, and that's all that matters. And that's it. You know, and I apologize to all parties involved. It's you know, we don't need that in the community. We got enough problems with what's going on with AMC and all that, and focusing on paying attention to what is actually happening and all the other stuff. So, and that's where we need to get back to, and that's what we're gonna do.
Now, we'll probably have another segment later with Tony Denaro too, just to offer a public apology, because I figure that's the most fair thing to do. So just because he's not here doesn't mean that he's not included. He is finishing up his show. He may come in later too, but if he wants to come on the show too, or we'll do another one, either which way, we'll still be offering a public apology that way too, to show the community that we're trying to do what's best for the community and do the right thing on top of it.
Hey, Froggy, there's a comment here. If I could just jump on that for 1 sec. It's asking, so how does all this backslapping help when we're fighting dirty criminals? That's exactly the point, Kevin, for Yori. If I said that right, that's the point. Is we don't want to be a distraction. As Mediocre says consistently, we're here for what's best for the community. That got out of hand. We as adults pulled this back. We've resolved it, and we're back to focusing on what matters, which is going after our beautiful stock and the hedgies. Back to the community focus. Is that fair, gentlemen?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
100%
Because
fair.
we were wasting so much time and energy on like fighting with each other that we weren't directing that energy and time into the matter at hand. We could have probably resolved it already. And like we kind of went off the path, and now we're back on it. So, you know, and that's what more people in the community should be doing instead of sitting there hating each other or fighting with each other. They should actually get together in a back row or back room, whatever, and talk about it and resolve the issue. Because if you have good intentions, you'll find out you have common ground.
Exactly. Never, I don't really know Tony as much as I know Pantheon, but they both put out good information, right? Like they do stuff that I don't do. I'm a chart guy, and I get my news from my broker, and all that other stuff is extra and it's good information, right? But I don't got time to do all that and do charting and this, that, and the other. It's just there's a lot more involved than what people actually think.
And I want to thank Super Steven too, because like even his videos, like he tried to be fair about everything too. And I like his content and stuff. And like I said, I know some people in the community, we're all different sides of the pond, but we all have the same like intentions, the same heart. We still care about the community the same exact way. And I think Super Steven, like your videos were amazing. And like I'd like to have you on too, just to prove that we're all doing this together. Like that's the goal. We should be working together.
He's got great videos and good content, and he was very fair in his videos, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Super Steven, it's the second video publicly been made. Just want to clarify. So. Yeah. I did get a heads up for it. Super Steven, those videos are excellent. You should keep making videos. You've got a knack for it, but you were more than fair in your assessment. And I want to say thank you, Super Steven, for bringing that to everyone's attention.
Yeah. And that's it. That's the other thing too, is like, I want more people in the community keeping an eye out for each other too. Like just because there's different communities and stuff, I mean, just looking out for each other's back and, doing what's best for everybody together. Not everybody's going to get along with everybody. Wish they would, but I mean, hopefully until this play is over, I mean, we can make the best of the situation, and at least get along and enjoy the ride until we get there. Because I mean, when this thing squeezes, we're all going to be happy. So that's pretty much it.
Right. And we just want to protect the community. If you see a fraud or something like that in the community, you can't let them get away with that. I mean, I'm not saying that it's 100%, but you can't let people like that. They have no business in this community, in my opinion.
Yeah. And if they're sending you email links saying, click this to join my whatever, I mean, within reason, I had to send Pantheon a link, but that's a whole different thing. I was going to send it over to his OnlyFans page, but I couldn't find that either.
I mean, that includes with Discord too, right? Like in Discord, a lot of times that you'll get private message links, and if you don't know the person, I recommend don't click in that link. I'm just going to say that right now. If you have a Discord and for example, Froggy or Pantheon or something, you're a target already, right? So if somebody you don't know sends you a message with a link in it, I would not click it in your email on Discord. I'll tell you that right now.
Hey, Froggy, Easter Beast is saying he can't find Super Steven's videos. Would you guys be able to have someone put that into the chat?
Let me go pull it up. It is kind of hard to find. Because if you haven't clicked on it once, sometimes it don't show up. That's weird. It shows up on my phone, but not my computer. I don't understand why.
Here, I'll give you the link. I got them. Hang on a second.
Am I correct in that those are his first two videos? Is that correct?
No, he has different kind of content. He has other content. Yeah.
Good.
Here's
his quality of his videos looks like someone who's been doing it for a while. He's good.
Here, I'll send the first link in chat here.
Here's the link to his whole channel right here.
Now, someone said right now that the SPY is tanking. It is getting beat right now. Let me pull that up real quick because that is kind of interesting. You can see it here. That's on a 1 minute chart. I mean, it's just nosediving.
Yeah,
I kind of expected to do that. But, I mean, I got a line down here that I was expecting it to get down to. Down here at 404. Once it broke underneath that 415 line, I was expected to drop down to 404 or somewhere close to that. So we're pretty far from it right now, but we're trending down. Right now it's going to hit this line here, and it will probably bounce off that, and it'll probably be the rest of our day. But that's pretty much it. That's not a good look, though. I mean, we're crossing underneath this line, which was a support. And I mean, it's whatever. The market wants to go and start dipping, whatever. I mean, I guess there's not much we can do about it except for watch and hope that things don't crash too hard.
Kind of funny, the plunge protection team didn't jump in on that at the end of the day. They don't like the weeks looking down, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think they're trying to land, because if they was to let everything settle to where it's supposed to, the market would quickly crash. And I think they're trying to slowly land this plane without crashing it. But that's why I think they're pumping in money. Here, I'll show you another thing that I've been paying attention to. It's the dollar. US dollar keeps ripping, and as it goes up, the SPY gets beaten. And you can see it right there on the 1 minute chart. It goes up, the whole market dips. And I mean, that's just the way it goes. Now you'll watch this, and when the Fed decides to pump in money, you'll just see it just spike right down. And right now they're not doing nothing to it yet.
Hey, can I jump in? Whale bait 415. So you're putting some comments in here, and I just want to address this, my friend. You know, it was Froggy and Mediocre who pushed for the conversation, okay? And so that is why we had the conversation yesterday. That is why we've come to this understanding, and we're all looking to move forward. So Whalebait 415, please be respectful of these two gentlemen. That is my message to everyone here. We're on the same page, please.
100%. You know, I don't want to keep talking about it because it's not worth talking about anymore, but trust me, we're all on the same page. 100%. Go ahead, Froggy.
Oh,
sorry.
Well, bait, I'll make it easy for you.
Don't do it.
I'm not going to tolerate that kind of. We don't need that kind of bitterness in the community if they're going to be like that. I mean, it was already squashed, and they're still trying to rehash it while we're sitting here, and that's part of the problem too. I don't know if it's a bot or if it's an actual person, but there's no need for that kind of like commenting.
I mean, this is like 24 hours later for us, but it's brand new for all these guys, right? So we'll let them have all this sink in, and we wanted to make sure that people didn't have drama going into the weekend, right?
Yeah, exactly. We had, listen, the truth is we talked for a few hours, and it wasn't like we were fighting. There was really absolutely no fighting. It was, we made our case, that they made their case, and I'm telling you that we withheld information purposely from them. Okay, we did. We needed to know certain things, right? Which I'm not gonna disclose today. That's all I'm gonna say. Like we just wanted to make sure it was okay to do so, right? And that's it.
I'll stop looking into the comments, and we can get back to focusing on AMC. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
Yeah, if anybody's gonna be rude and disrespectful in the comments, you will be blocked. There'll be zero tolerance for like hateful comments, especially after we're trying to fix things and patch things up. We don't need anybody else trying to stir hate. So if that's what you want to do, you've been warned.
All right.
So AMC.
Yeah, that's where I was going next. I wanted to do a max pain before the end of the day to see if I can squeeze it in here. So let's pull up this chart here. Pantheon, I'll actually show you how to do max pain, how I do max pain. There's two different ways to do it.
Okay.
You'll actually like this, because like a lot of people go to a website and they get this calculated version like this down here. It says max pain 1650, and it bases it off the entire curve. Obviously this side's much bigger, so there's a lot more money spread out over here. It's dilution. Over here it's concentrated, so you get this abnormal number because there's people piling it way up here that will never go in the money. Actually, there's actually nobody sitting there right now. You can see they're here, but anyways, this is the chart that I use right here, and you can see there's puts here and here, 1550. There's calls stacked right on that, so I'm expecting it to close pretty close to 1550. So, I'm actually going to mark that up real quick. 1550 plus or minus a nickel is what I'm looking at. Probably won't be accurate on the nickel, but I mean, if you're a market maker, you're going to put it somewhere real close to that line and blow out all these calls and puts at the same time. That's typically their goal. Maybe GME will have more of a spread. So right here, you can see puts are right here, calls are right here. If you're a market maker, you split the two. It's called max pain, and it blows out all these green calls right here and all these puts right here. So you're looking at 125, 127. It puts you at 126 plus or minus $1. And that's how we figure it by just visually looking at it. Let's go over and see what the price is actually trading at. Oh, if max pain ends up failing, what that means?
Wow.
What are you looking at?
They might be trying to push it down below 15 to get those puts in the money, but they just get a big red candle on the 5 minute.
Right there, we're at 125.25. Looks like they're trying to drive it down right now, but we still got 1 minute left. Let's see what they're going to end up doing with that one.
You got it pulled up?
I got the chart pulled up, yeah.
All right.
So I was looking at 126 as low as 125. They're pushing that border right there. But like I said, if it holds right there for the close, which you got 8 seconds to go, I mean, obviously, none of the puts or calls go into money, and the market maker just cleans up on premium.
There we go.
And there it is, 125.20. Let's go back over and check out AMC, see if my nickel worked. And it didn't do very good on that one. It was 15.50, so it went about 20 cents lower. It brought that stack of puts in. Let's see how many there actually was. That brought in 12,457 puts, but it was only like a couple cents in, so it's not like it's big money. I think you probably have to be further in, but we'll see what happens on Monday. It should probably start heading down first thing on Monday, and then probably if there's a bounce, we'll find out right after that. But GME held exactly where it was supposed to, and I think it's going to be up to the dollar on Monday how the market starts out. Let's check that SPY real quick too and see how bad it got beat. Bounce at the very end. 412 and 2 pennies. Let's see what that max pain was on that one.
There we go. Old Geller wasn't going to let me down. There she is at the end of the day.
What'd she do?
Pushed up the SPY. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding around.
Well, I'll check the dollar and see if there is any goofiness that happened like that, because sometimes you can see it, but usually at the end of the day, they kind of tell you what position they're going to be taking on Monday. They dip it down, and at the very end they counter correct, and then what it's showing right there is the SPY is going to bounce back Monday. Now we'll see if it plays out that way, but that's what they're indicating. Ooh. Well, they brought a lot of puts in. That can't be right. SPY's going to get cranked on Monday. Cranked. Let me show you guys this real quick. I'm expecting a red Monday, Tuesday again.
Ow.
Right here's the puts. The 120s came in, the 19s, 18s, 17s, 16s, 15s,
Wow.
14s, 13s. That's horrible. All those puts came in the money. All them calls got blown out. So I'm expecting a pretty noticeable dip Monday. And if you go back to the chart where I had that line pulled up, where I was expecting it to, once it broke through that line, I was expecting it to drop down here to 404. So that number might be in play for Monday, Tuesday. Let's hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yuck.
I'm not liking that at all. I want it to go up.
There's another spot right there, maybe.
Well, what do you
is
guys
that
think?
line?
What do you guys think about the the theory that the more it dips, the more the overall market crashes, the faster we're going to move towards margin calls being successful? Not that
That was actually my theory originally, but it kind of scares me because, like, if I'm wrong, we're all screwed. So it's like you're kind of hoping for devastation, and you're hoping you can shine in it. It's like you really don't want that.
No, I agree. Nobody wants to see it done that way, 100%. Boss Blunts and I talk about that a bunch. We don't want to see everything tank, but the result of the market tanking will certainly mean long stock positions held by these hedge funds will have them deleveraged to the point where they can't meet successful minimum margin requirements. So that's not something we want, but it would be a potential outcome if the market does continue to drop.
I mean, AMC
Right.
held up well, so I do see what you're saying. And a lot of times when the SPY goes down, AMC would go down, but it held up pretty good today with that beating that the SPY took.
Like
So,
I'm not hoping for things to continue to go down. I don't want to see that either. I've got a theory that that's what we are going to see heading towards early June.
Right. I agree with you. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
yeah, there's a lot of other stuff like mortgage-backed securities and the DXY, the dollar going up. What's the dollar? What the dollar go to today?
103.
Yeah.
103.19. It's up. Oh, wait, it wasn't up? It was actually down on the day, 47 cents. I'll pull it up here in a second. I'm just trying to figure out what chart time frame I'm supposed to be on here.
What's interesting while you're pulling that up is like you're coming at it from a more of a technical. You do DD, but you're coming at it from more of a TA perspective on what we just talked about towards the market dropping towards June. And a lot of people are coming at this from a lot of different angles, right? And we're all sort of converging on an interesting time frame that makes us kind of go, that's something to take a look at.
Yeah, because we're all looking at the same time frame spots, which is like June, July, where there's issues, and it's like GME comes in about that time with their split, and then you got like the Cat 5 or Phase 5 coming in,
Yep.
and then you got Cat 6 after, or the Phase 6 after that, and it's like Boss Blunts is coming with June 3rd. And I'm like, man, this is going to be a rough couple months.
Right. Well, we've got the TSP. Is it the TSP or TPS? TSP plans for veterans and government workers who have they're basically their 401k style investment funds. They're getting locked out of being able to make any changes, but they'll still reflect what the value of those positions are from May 26th to June 7th. And in that time frame, you've got a completely dead options chain. There's no contracts for that time frame. You've also
Share
got
that, Froggy.
You've also got, so I don't mean to take you off what your screen here. Do you want me to come back to this later?
No. I'll put it up for you.
It's important.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah. Do you guys want me to talk through this?
No, yeah, go ahead. Just put it up for you.
Okay, so the thrift savings plan, the TSP, Casey Shaw dug this information up and he's asked everyone to share this. This is a savings plan. It's like a 401k style that's for military and government employees. They are changing service providers and the timing is, I'll just say, interesting. And it's not that we've got 100% receipts that something is going to happen, but if a lot of other factors look like something interesting is coming. And so what people need to be is just aware of what's happening. If we scroll down, you'll see a bullet point list of the different dates. And
give me one sec.
Yeah, sorry.
You got extras, Dr. Zeno in here.
And
That's
then
kind of
we,
strange.
we can see here coming up May 16th is the last day to submit and access all forms to include withdrawals, rollovers, and transfers. That's fine. May 26th is the key date. That's the last date that anyone can make transfers between the different asset classes or asset investments within the TSP plan. What happens is from May 26th until June 7th, that if the next paragraph, it says until the first week of June, but we've confirmed June 7th. Account access will be completely unavailable. However, all invested funds will continue to reflect market changes during that time period, which means if things are going up, you can't sell your positions. And it's not individual stocks in the TSP, but they do have funds and indexes that include ETFs that do have meme stocks. So if everything's popping up, you're not able to execute a sell order to move your money, and everything tanks, you can't do anything about it. Now, is something going to necessarily happen in that time frame? We can't say for certainty, but this is the kind of information that we want out there for people to make their best informed decision. And there is a link on your TSP, if you have one, that can tell you all the different investments of what your options are. What we're asking is for people to take a look at it, talk to your loved ones who may be in a TSP, and double check what you're actually invested in, what's included in that investment, and just consider what is the best place for me to be in the event that I'm locked out of making changes to my plan for anything that could potentially happen. That's all we're asking people to do, is just be safe. If we can help a few of our military personnel, it's worth doing.
Agreed. So this is the thrift savings plan. So.
And that's that time frame we're talking, May 26th to June 7th. Now, in that same time frame, you've got June 2nd, which is the GME shareholder vote to approve the dividend stock split. And I think everyone is going to vote yes. I hope everybody votes yes for that. That's going to be troublesome, to be kind to the hedge funds, because they cannot cover a stock split with synthetic shares. It cannot be done. There's no way to do that. The other thing is the next day on June 3rd, and I don't think it's coincidental, between June 2nd and June 3rd, they're back to back. June 3rd is the executive order 14032 that Boss Blunts talks about. And we can get into that a little bit deeper if you guys want, but I don't want to take over the show. It's not, I keep thinking it's just me talking. So
Hold
do you
on.
guys, do we want to talk about the executive order, or do you want to just move on to another part?
Go ahead and cover that. I'm going to try to fix this Doc Zeno thing real quick.
Okay, so Executive Order 14032, the original version of that was signed into effect by President Trump at the time, and then it was reestablished through President Biden. And what it does is there's 30 plus, I think it's around 36 Chinese companies that produce products that are used in military development applications. Like they produce the materials that the Chinese military uses to produce their weapons. And so the executive order says we don't want American companies investing into these companies if they're going to help produce mechanisms for the Chinese military. So we're going to say, don't invest in them. And if you do, as of the date of this executive order, they will no longer have value in North America. And this was an executive order that took place the day we popped January 2021. It was then halted or suspended and then reenacted in June of 2021, which is when we had our second pop. And it's had a third date that it's been suspended until June 3rd, 2022. It's there to keep the Chinese government in check, to say we can reenact this and activate it at any moment. It will reactivate June 3rd. It could be reactivated sooner at any moment to remove the value of your companies within North America, so that it's not worth any collateral for any of the investors here. In other words, there will be a run on your companies in your market. And the Chinese government has pushed back on it. Now, recently, but 2 weeks ago, Janet Yellen came out and did a speech where she basically called out China and said, if you back Russia, we are going to sanction you. Very strong language from Janet Yellen, where we call Old Yeller. Anyways, so like it's going to be very difficult for the American government at this point to say, you know what, we're just going to pull off Executive Order 14032. We're not going to worry about it. Now, why does this matter? Because the ability to buy these stocks and bonds is cheaper for companies in North America on this China market than it is here, to get more actual liquidity or more collateral on hand, right? So you can spend, I'll just simplify it, not that anyone needs it simplified, but basically you can put pennies or dimes to get $1 worth of collateral on your books. That's why they invest in these companies, right? Now, what happens is when that executive order comes down, it's not the amount of money they paid into them, it's the value on their books that disappears, therefore putting them in danger of failing minimum margin requirements on a potential margin call. This is all Boss Blunt's information, and Boss wants us to share and spread this info. So he gets full credit for pulling this DD together. So that's a trigger that we've had actually execute twice. Now, people might say, well, maybe it's a coincidence. It's one hell of a coincidence. Is it going to trigger something again? It's not that that creates a MOAS or a pop. It's that that puts these hedge funds in danger of not having the collateral on their books because it's cheap collateral to purchase. And when that disappears, that could be a problem. So, you know, you can put on tinfoil hats and speculate if that stuff gets put into people's TSP plans, and then that hits, the value of those assets would drop. And if you see your TSP plan dropping, you would notice something's going on. Or any of your 401ks held by BlackRock, Vanguard, tinfoil hat guys, no receipts on this part, we're just spitballing. But if those investments were to be put in there and good stocks taken out at par value now, the problem is it would still look okay. But when it came down to the executive order, then they would all drop. Now, how do you hide that? You hide that through a market crashing. You know, we're tinfoil hat speculating here, but if everything's going down towards June and you're hiding these toxic assets into people's pension funds, which we believe is taking place, and we'll start to bring some receipts on that, then what that does is it sort of hides it, because it's not just pension plans going down, it's everybody saying everything's going down. Why is my pension 401k, my BlackRock 30 plan going down? Hey, everything's going down. What are we supposed to do about it? And it kind of, you know, no body, no crime. And then we look at what's happening with Melvin Capital shutting down their fund, claiming it's about the high water mark. And a high water mark is a percentage that a fund has set. So 5 years of excellence in their fund means they hit about a 20% return. You as a new investor, they would say, mediocre, invest with us. We have an average 20% return. Once you hit that, once we pass that, we get bonused out of that. So we don't get bonus until we beat that mark, but they've lost so much money in the last year, they will never hit that mark. And so their traders are saying, I can't get a bonus no matter how good I do, because the whole thing's gone down the toilet. So why would I stay? And that's what they're saying is the reason that they're switching from one fund to the next from June 30th to July 1st. Now, when a public fund closes its books, or a private company closes its books, everything gets closed with it. So there's some interesting. I'm just gonna leave that out there for people to consider. But if you want to hide proof of synthetic shares and you want to hide proof of naked shorts as they get reconciled, that might be a place you want to consider to put them, close the books, and then there's no record. I'm throwing a lot of things out here because I want to start some conversation with everything. But I will just say, you know, that's quite a bit to chew on. Sorry, Froggy, I kind of went a little off there on a bunch of topics.
No, we had an imposter in here, so I had to promote Doc to Mod to go get the guy. So I did a Casey Shaw tactic. I sent him a message on Twitter, said CEO in chat, gave him a wrench, and he went out and tagged the guy, and I blocked him.
Froggy, could you, a Mediocre Trader, Jay sent a comment. Jay Portuguese, please read that comment that he sent in the chat.
The comment he sent to me.
I'm not sure which one.
It's in the birthday, guys. Just was giving you a heads up.
I don't. Okay. To be fair, I have a personal comment from him, and I'm not sure if that's what he wants me to put out or not.
Yeah. I was hoping you see it.
Tell him to type it in my channel, and I'll read it. Let me head over. Let me open my channel real quick.
Sorry about that, Pantheon.
No worries, guys. It's always easier in my spot. I just get to sit, read comments, and talk. It's always tougher in your spot running the show.
Oh, it is, because I see somebody causing trouble in chat, and I'm like, usually you want to focus on the topic, but then you got a problem where someone's trying to be somebody that they're not.
Yeah, that guy, I know who. If it's the guy that I think, then, you know, we know who he is, and he jumps around and does this all over the place. You'd think you'd have something better to do.
Oh, there's trolls everywhere. Yeah, there was a
Okay.
Froggy that popped up too, but
So this is what Jay wants me to put out there, and I knew this right before the show. I let Pantheon and Froggy know, but he wants me to put it out to the public that Jay Portuguese has been removed from the Wolfpack server, the WebEx server. So he wants everybody to know that he was removed.
and that was one of his number 2 guys in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
Okay, one. Rod, I think the name is Rad Win. Don't forget, I'm sorry, guys. After the show, when the show begins to end, just remind me so I can tell Froggy that's what you're looking for. So before the show ends, because you have reviewed it, I need to just remind me, sir, so I can let Froggy know that's what you want to sign up for. You have to remind me because I'll forget. Thank you.
yeah, here's a good question. For the people that still have it, oh wait, how did I click that one? Wait, where'd it go?
A WebEx on their phone. They're asking you, how do you get WebEx off their phone? Can you explain that while you explain the other part of the WebEx too?
Yeah, that's the one I was going to click on. I said, what should I do if there's WebEx on my mobile phone? Last I seen, there's only one process that you have to remove. It's just the app itself. Actually, Pantheon, do you have it on your phone?
No, I've never used WebEx on my phone. I have used it in business for over 10 years in British Columbia. Engineering architecture firms use it as a communication tool all the time. I've been using the software, so I didn't install anything or get an email from the people to install it. I already had it on my computer. All I needed to do is get the server number to put in. So it was already on my system, and that's why I knew it was a clean version, which is what the confusion came in between these emails, because I never received an email with a link that I could look at to say, what is this? Now, I don't know anything about mobile phones on that, but when you uninstall the app from your desktop, you don't just uninstall it. You have to go back into your task manager, go Control-Alt-Delete, click on Task Manager, and then double check your applications. You want to double check your Startup tab and your Processes tab and see what's still running, because there's another there's 2 different portions of it. One's called, I think, WebEx Meetings, and there's another one. You want to double check. You see anything named WebEx, you're going to want to shut that down from your system and get it out.
Yeah, and the one that starts up on a startup, that's the one that worries me. I don't think the actual program itself is the problem. It's the other piece that's the problem, because even after it's uninstalled, there's still something there.
And I took my computer to an IT expert that I used to work in an architecture firm with here. He went through my whole system. He said, no, there's no problem with it. Everything's clean. I still went ahead and scrubbed it all off just to be safe. And I'm not saying everyone needs to jump out immediately. I'm saying if you've made the decision to jump out, this is what you should do. And again, there's I think some people asking for, where's the rest of the information? There will be a follow-up video created by the 3 of us and one more, if not 2 other people, that everything will be put out for you guys. But this is not the time or place today, because as I said, it's still an evolving situation, and there's still more people looking into this, so we can bring you guys 100% concrete facts to prove everything you need to know. But if you're at all worried or concerned about the software at this point and you don't want to be in this, then definitely consider your options for removing it. And, there's more information to come.
Yeah, and the thing I worry about the phone is I only found one spot that was hidden. I was assuming there might be 2, but I haven't found it. So now I did notice after I got rid of it, my internet, I don't know if it's the phone, the service, I don't know what the problem is, but my internet hasn't got back to where, like, I'm continuously like loading and stuff, and I'm not sure if it's a phone issue or if there's something like causing an issue. I might have to restore my phone, but it hasn't worked right since I removed it, so I don't know what the problem is there. So, but that could just be something. It's a Motorola junk phone, anyways.
I want to say this too to any Wolfpack members that are Wolfpack members that are leaving. Okay, I don't think anybody should attack those people at all. It's not, those people had no idea. And I just want them to all know they're welcome wherever they want to go, and we are all apes, and that's all that matters.
100%. I don't have any access to the WebEx. I just scrubbed off my system. I am still 100% a friend to anyone who is in that was a subscriber, that signed up for that system, who's over there and is wanting to get out. I am a friend to you. So are these two gentlemen. We are here to help you guys still remain part of this community. You're not going to be ostracized. We care about the shareholders.
Yep. And like I personally don't have any problems with the Wolfpack members, only the ones that basically come in and run their mouth. I've already blocked all those ones. But if I've seen them saying something negative or disrespectful, they got blocked. And the ones that didn't say anything negative and disrespectful, they're still free to come over here. So, I mean, they're not all bad people. I mean, there's a lot of good people over there too, and that's why I did it the way I did it. I only reacted based upon the ones that were reacting bad, and that was it. Now, maybe down the road, if the ones that want unblocked, if they come like to one of the mods and say, "Hey, sorry, I messed up, took the wrong side, and I apologize," I'll unblock them. But for now, just for the safety of the channel, I just do it that way. So, what's our next topic we got here?
Well, whatever you want to do.
You were talking about
Can you read Ed Card? He said he asked you a question. One moment. I apologize. Let me read what he said. I can find it. I don't have my glasses on. He says, Froggy, dollar goes up, market goes down. Is this the trend? What is the dollar stock symbol?
What's it resemble?
No, he asked for the stock symbol. It's DXY.
Yeah, it's DXY. And yeah, typically when the dollar goes up in price, the market will go down because we'll say if the dollar goes up 10%, which I'm just exaggerating the price movement. If the dollar goes up 10%, everything that's not the dollar goes down by roughly 10%. It's just a ratio. It's not exactly that way. It can move up like 50 cents and the market will drop like 7%. So I don't know how that works ratio wise on whatever, but it's, I mean, just like it is in Bitcoin, when Bitcoin goes up, the altcoins drop. When money comes in the overall market, Bitcoin will go up and so will the altcoins. So when money comes out, Bitcoin usually, when the whole market loses money, Bitcoin will drop like 1%, and the rest of the altcoins will drop, say, 5%. It's just a ratio thing on how things work out. But you always got to pay attention to your currency. JB says, if the YouTube creators have issues, they need to resolve offline next time, because when you guys have issues, it divides us. Yeah, I agree with almost all of that, just because I do see that there's people that take it to the video and talk. A lot of people don't really come together and talk. Like, look at the issues that are out there right now with some of the YouTubers fight with each other, and they refuse to talk to each other. So I
agree with you, but in this case, I have to say that it wasn't really something that could be done that way. And you'll see later on, I don't want to get into it now, but there was a reason why we didn't tell Pantheon all the information, right? We didn't give him that information.
And when I mean YouTubers that are refusing to talk, I'm talking about there's like a certain other YouTubers that they don't want to talk to each other, or they don't have a way to connect with each other. So they don't talk. And it probably would be more beneficial if they did, because look how fast we resolved our problem. We went a couple of days of videos and we spent about a couple hours of fixing the problem and realized that we were wasting our time. So it's kind of actually really that simple.
And could I add a little bit to that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Jay Beebs, to your point, I mean, part of the fallout for me, I mean, the damage has kind of been done, is I've got other YouTubers now making hate videos towards me, and it is what it is. They can do whatever they want. I don't watch them. I don't really care. These gentlemen, I wanted to make sure we squared things up with, but you guys are going to see more shots at Pantheon because people heard the video number 2, took everything 100% to heart, and then put it out there and started attacking me as well. What I'm going to ask for people is please don't go to those channels. Please do not bash them in their comments. Just ignore them. If anybody wants, if it's concerning to you that people are attacking me, don't defend me. Just leave them be. We'll move on together, and you'll focus on AMC moving forward, and this stuff will all just blow over in a week. Not the stuff that we're talking about, the serious issues about what we're talking about with the WebEx and everything else. I'm talking about the people who are jumping on the bandwagon to bash me. Don't worry about it. I'm a big boy.
I just want to say something. I'm not a mean person, Mr. Pantheon. Nowhere near a mean person. So don't take it as that. And no disrespect to you or your channel. And I mentioned this to Froggy. I do forgive you, but it's going to be hard, so hard. I have to pray about it for me to forget the things that you said about him that were not true. And that's sitting on me right now. It's sitting on my heart. So I'm going to ask God to, remove that. When you say some harsh things, when you say things come out of your mouth like that, Mr. Pantheon, those things can't be replaced. So God has to work on me on that. And I'm asking him to do that. Because I don't hate you and I don't dislike you. But you have a lot of respect for me when you do something like that. That's all I want to say. But I still appreciate everything that you're doing. I really do, sir. I really do. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Harris. Thank you for that. And we're not going to get deep into the woods on this, but
No.
my video was responding to information I wasn't even privy to. The response back to me was 100% defamation, and everything I said was taken out of context. So, if I produced a video that is no longer active, that showed me losing my mind and frustration, I think some people could say that was justified, but we have squashed it. We're moving forward. I know that you've already been piling on with people, Ms. Harris, over with Johnwicksnipin. So it is what it is. We're moving forward. I'm not looking to look backwards on this any further.
I agree. We should
Yeah,
move forward.
I think we pretty much resolved it all on the back end, and we brought it out to everybody's attention. So hopefully everybody can just let it rest at that point, and we can move forward from there.
Well, I appreciate you. Like I said, let God work on my heart just about the harsh comments. I have no grudges against you, no disrespect against you. I don't want to bring it back up. I'm just saying, let him just work on me with that. Just let him work on me with that, sir. That's all I'm asking.
Now, if Pantheon and Boss Blunts 2024 happens, I'm definitely voting for those guys.
The problem is I'm not a naturalized citizen of the United States, so I'll take a job in the Fed or the SEC or something, but I think Boss will need another running mate. Or I'll take over. I'll be the Prime Minister of Canada, and then we'll really clean up North America.
Well, wait, you
That
can't
would
be
be
the
nice.
president, but can you be VP?
I think Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of got to the height being governor. I think governor was the highest you can go in my. I'm not completely sure. I thought
you
it
could
was
be
governor.
in Congress. You can
yeah?
be in Congress. Yeah, you just can't be VP or president, but you can make it senator, Congress. You could do all that.
Okay,
Right.
honestly, guys, would you not love to see AMC Bigums be the press secretary? Would that not
dude,
be
it'd
the
be
greatest thing
awesome.
ever? I think that'd be just hilarious.
I would like to see any member of our community that is known being a member of the board on like AMC or just anything bigger than just part of the community. Like, could you imagine Boss Blunts being out there and just speaking on something in the government? It'd be like the coolest thing in the world to see him out there just doing his thing.
It'd be refreshing.
Well, it'd be good to have somebody finally for once in government that'd be on our side.
Yeah, right. That's the whole problem. They're not on our side,
Hey, Froggy, we've also got somebody here talking about they can't trust someone that doesn't show their face. I just want to address that for one quick sec, if I may. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
I've shown my face on my channel. I've done 2 reveals of my face. If you look at my channel, there are multiple videos where I can be clearly seen. So there's a reason why I am currently just an icon on the screen here. I've got my reasons. I've discussed them clearly in detail on my channel. So if anybody wants to know, it's all there for you to go find out. This isn't something sinister, hidden, and Froggy has seen my face. So
Exactly.
I am a real boy. I do exist.
No, he has shown his face to the other content creators and stuff. And he does have a legit reason. It's not, and I mean, you could tell Pantheon's not asking for anything. He's not coming up with outlandish statements like 100,000 per share and stuff like that, and trying to say, sell Monday. He's not doing anything weird like that. Like, his intentions are pure, and you should be able to tell that. So now Al from Boston, I guarantee he's probably part of the reason why the no face thing is probably became an issue. And it makes total sense. Like somebody that has a certain characteristic trait does something that's real goofy and they project it onto the next person. But I mean, Pantheon is time in and time out proven that he's here for the community. And we had a disagreement on stuff, but that was a total different thing. Like I said, he's demanding for proof, and we're over there demanding for proof on another perspective. So it became a head button thing more than a productive situation. And like I said, it has nothing to do. I even stated I like Pantheon's work. I actually like Pantheon, but we were trying to resolve an issue, and it became an issue to resolve the issue. So it was like not very productive.
Now I want to add to this because there's people in the community who show their face, but they're not trustworthy. But we're talking to a guy who's trustworthy, and he's not showing his face. It makes no sense, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? And I just figured I'd put that out there.
Thanks. And we also, I don't see, Lion Trader or Simulate and Trade get that same kind of stuff. But, it is what it is. I respect people's opinions if that's how they feel. But, there's reasons, guys. Not everything has to be. You don't need to show your share positions. You don't have to show your face. These are things you don't have to do, guys.
Now, I understand the showing the share position thing, but I mean, anybody could pull up 10 shares and be like, here, this is me. I'm part of the community, especially if they're bought and paid for, like, we'll just say what it is, a shill. Someone that's fake that's coming in to terrorize the community, they can go out and 10 shares isn't very much. And they can be like, look, I'm part of the community. That is such a cheap entry to the community. We should have higher standards than that. And
I agree.
I don't know what we could do to make it better. I'm not saying you have to own 1,000 shares to be part of the community, but I mean, there's got to be a better vetting process than, a couple of shares or a face. I mean, I think it should come down to, you should have to do X amount of proof that you're good intentions. And then it's up to the community to keep an eye on that person just in case they fall off the shelf and be like, nope, they went left instead of right. So, or whatever. I don't want to say left and right because it sounds like that government crap. But that's why I always tell people, watch even me to make sure that anybody in the community is not straying from the group, because you never know when that one person is going to flip on us and start saying something stupid. And we need Paul Revere's everywhere running back saying, hey, this one went goofy. And then we get to go and investigate and see what the problem is. Maybe it's a misunderstanding. Maybe it's like they're not, they don't know enough about the situation. But if somebody says, hey, do something bad, like, I can access your phones for you and do the work for you. I mean, that's some suspect stuff. And then it needs to be called into question. And we have enough eyes out there.
So I did see JWS's video, and I just want to say a couple things, right? Like, I do think that he makes some good points. Like getting a lot of people on YouTube and just flooding YouTube with AMC shareholders. That's not a terrible idea, right? That people are going to say, what the hell is going on, right? It's going to make something click. I don't disagree with that, right? I'm not saying it's 100% going to work, but it's not a terrible idea, and I just want to say that, like, you can't always knock a guy for putting out ideas like that, because they're not always bad, right? They can be adjusted to. I think anybody can go and buy 5 AMC shares and sell them 10 minutes later after they made their video. Okay, I mean, it is what it is, right? I don't think that's really going to help anything, but he's not wrong about making a stance on YouTube videos. I mean, I don't disagree with that.
But to that point, let's be fair. To that point, I was 100% successful in being very clear about being tough on the issue and not the person. He did not listen to my video before he decided to come out and attack me.
Oh yeah,
I said he's a smart guy. I said he thinks outside the box. He's trying different things. I just don't agree with this because to me it's the same thing as saying show me your bank account, and to show 10 shares doesn't really prove anything. That was my statement
agreed.
again, and then I get attacked on it. So, some people are just going to react emotionally, and others, you guys were different. I've acknowledged that, but that one I stand by that 100%. I was tough on the issue, not the person. I succeeded in that, and I will
Yeah.
stand by that comment.
Well, I know John Wick has said certain things that's conflicting and has angered people or stirred people, but I think his intentions are still good no matter how he comes off, because like he wants people to prove themselves. I think that if maybe if you're going to be a content creator, you should prove that you're a good person, have good intentions. We should have higher standards for like the content creators because they are basically influencers. And I'm not sure how we can come up with a standard of things that you can do to prove that you are for the community, because you shouldn't just be able to walk in and be like, surprise guys, I got 10 shares. So I get it, but I don't know what we can do. There's got to be something more. Maybe us content creators can come together and think of something that would, be a good way of vetting somebody. Because like certain ones, like look at Boss Blunts, the dude's been solid for over a year and nobody questions him because he's proven time in and time out, hours after hours, that he's here for the community.
Well,
Do you know how many new apes we get a day? We get new apes every single day, guys. Like it's crazy. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
One guy did certainly challenge Boss, right? Charlie's vids. That didn't go well. Do you guys remember that?
Actually, I don't know what happened there because I was going to bring Charlie on here because I thought he was like part of the community and everything. And then I realized there was a problem. I'm like, I don't know what happened. And I don't know if I can even figure out what happened, but I thought they were all doing the same thing, digging into DD, trying to figure out what, get information out to the community. I don't know how they just all of a sudden got into a fight. They had the same goal. So, I mean, maybe it was just a war of words. But I don't know. That's kind of unfortunate how it unfolded.
Oh, we've got John Wicks here in the room. Hello, John. So, what is he saying here? You commented on the video, Pantheon, making it seemed that I demanded you show me that was the problem. By the way, I've been in this room since the beginning. So Johnwicksnipin, again, I've said nothing bad about you in the video or on this chat. I've been nothing but respectful, but you straight up attacked me in your video on a personal level. You did. And that was unacceptable, my friend. And what I said in that video, if you've actually listened to the entire stream, was that I didn't watch your video. Somebody commented that you were asking them to validate the shares to you. So I commented on what they said. I said, I have to go watch the video. That's exactly what was said. You took it completely out of context and made it as a personal attack on me. And I'm getting that a lot right now. And it seems to be the en vogue thing for people to try and do that off the success of my back. So John, I got no problem with you, man. I don't. But you jumped ahead without thinking on that one. And I completely said repeatedly, I got no problem with you. I think you're a smart guy. I think you're thinking outside the box. I don't always agree with what you're thinking, but you're trying new things. None of that was a negative shot or personal attack at you. 100%.
Now my thoughts is like he does have a good point where we should have a form of vetting. Wouldn't you agree that there should be, definitely for the content creators, we should have to prove something? I'm not saying show your account. I'm saying like do good things and prove yourself with good intentions. Something positive, like something. There's got to be something there, because you don't want some like guy coming up out of nowhere and like, here, I'm part of the group, trust me. And we shouldn't be that easy. Would you agree?
I mean, I don't want to be the, if there was a way, yes, but right. But if you go back and look at what already happened, right? He seemed to be a decent person. No, you see what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
Cam was tricky because like I even fell for it and thought he was like a good guy, and then as it unfolds and you start seeing like he seemed to be more in it for himself, and he had this like weird agenda thing that he was doing like secretly, but he didn't do that on my show. He just tried to like promote himself and like everything else at that point. But I guess all the other weird stuff is happening on his own show. And, you know, maybe that's my fault for not vetting him better, but, you know, that's what I'm looking for, is a better way to vet somebody to make sure that we could trust them.
The message I say consistently in my show is question everything, including me. Question everything. And I think that's a good thing that people should take away from this. Don't Casey Shaw even brought that up to me yesterday. He said, even if you think you can really trust someone, like we're all just a bunch of people here on the internet trying to move this beautiful stock forward and help share information. But the reality is we really don't know each other. So always have a little bit of your guard up, and quite frankly, always just be careful to question everything. And I always say that. I ask everyone, question me, hold me accountable. If I've said something that doesn't have fact to it, bring it up. But I don't typically bring emotion into my videos, and I seem to get a lot of hate right now. So I can move on with it. It'll disappear. Everybody will get over it, right? And we'll get back to focusing on what matters. And and I Johnwicksnipin, I have no problem with you, man. I don't. You have a problem with me. It is what it is. We don't all have to like each other, but we're all here looking for the same thing, and that's the mother of all short squeezes.
That's right.
Now, Jem Miner asked, as soon as it pulls up here, Charlie thinks Marco Metzler is wrong. Not everybody's going to agree with everybody's like DD information or opinion. Marco Metzler is actually like special. I can't remember even exactly who he is. I know by watching the video of Boss Blunts, but I can't remember how to describe him. But
he's the former head of the Fitch rating agency, and Charlie actually started off saying Marco Metzler didn't exist, and then immediately after, Boss had the interview. So, and that wasn't where they gone wrong, but that's part of the issue. Sorry to interrupt you, Froggy.
No, it like when I heard that this guy was talking about different stuff, I was skeptical too. And then I remember I heard some other comments from some other people, and I thought, wow, it's just another guy saying something. And then Boss Blunts brought it in, and I'm like, if it's important to Boss, it might be important. So I watched it. And that's when they started talking about the Evergrande thing, and I'm like, I might want to pay attention to Evergrande now. And I did. And I was like, that looks like it's a bomb waiting to go off. Why hasn't it really rippled through the world? And it's because they're delaying it. So Marco Metzler's been talking about that, and Boss has been hitting that thing right on the head. So we do have something to watch. And I mean, not everybody's going to agree it's important.
Yeah, so Dr. Marco Metzler is the former head of...
Super Steven's in the chat. He's just kind of addressed you, Froggy. Super Steven, the guy who made the video, he's in the chat.
Yeah, I'm getting down there.
Do you want me to talk about Dr. Metzler for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Marco Metzler is the former head of the Fitch rating agency that would rate bond securities and whatnot. He saw what was happening with the Evergrande situation and saw that they were not being honest about the rating of their performance bonds and should have been moved down to junk status a long time ago. Dr. Metzler, out of his own pocket, went and purchased some of those bonds, thus making him an actual holder of the bonds, which meant when Evergrande made moves, he was supposed to be alerted. Evergrande went forward with a meeting of bond holders, and none of them were alerted. Dr. Metzler can prove it because he got no notification of it. So he's actually spent money out of his own pocket to be one of those people to see exactly how this process worked out. He then went and hired a lawyer in the Cayman Islands, which is where Evergrande, even though it's a Chinese company, they're based out of the Cayman Islands as far as being registered. So he went there and tried to hire a lawyer to take this to court to prove that the bond should be moved to junk status. The lawyer then realized who they were up against, backed away, and he had to restart the process and find another lawyer that actually had the balls to go forward to against these guys, because the people that hold the bonds in Evergrande are BlackRock, Vanguard, some of the most biggest, largest, potentially dangerous people to make enemies of, right? And so he had to find a lawyer that would actually push that forward, which he did. And he's doing all of this out of his own pocket and sharing this with Boss on the interviews, which is quite freaking fantastic. So that gives you a bit more background as to who Dr. Metzler is.
Now here's a comment from Super Steven. And this is exactly what I was worried about, because I can't like watch my co-host at all times to make sure that they're acting right. So I mean, it's part my fault too. Like I should have probably paid a little more attention, but it says here Cam acted normal most of the times, and it was during the early morning streams, like 4 a.m. is when he would do the inappropriate behavior when most were not watching. And that's exactly it. That's when things got brought to my attention, is when it was on his channel. And granted, it's on his channel, but he still comes on here as a co-host. And if he's not being professional there, he's not welcome here. And he was told that several times before. If you're like stirring the pot, causing problems, or trying to bait somebody into something, plagiarizing, like you get the boot. And I told him zero tolerance. And he found out the hard way. And so, yeah, thanks for bringing that to my attention, man. But that's the good part about the community too, is we have eyes everywhere. So people like that should not be able to run into our community, do dishonest stuff without anybody spreading the word saying, hey, look. And I mean, we need Paul Revere's. It's important.
So Doc Zeno says, Pantheon, there may have been an imposter of mine in your stream recently causing problems.
I'm not aware of any issues of Doc Zeno in my streams. Doc Zeno, you and I are completely cool. The guy who is pretending to be Doc Zeno today is somebody who's he's tried to be Janet Yellen, Gary Gensler. He keeps changing his name to all those people. That's who that guy is. You're cool with me, Doc Zeno. We got no issue.
Well, he should have known better than to come in here. I like that Gary Gensler guy, but if you come in like trying to make somebody look bad, he had to go, and I blocked him. So it kind of sucks. I did like him coming in here and pretending to be Gary Gensler, but you can't come in and like harass people. It's not cool.
Tendie Time says, hey, look, a couple of my favorite dudes back on the same stream.
Yeah, we got a lot of topics that we do need to cover down the road too. Like I want to get into more, like we got that rule thing. Weren't you talking about that earlier? Was it 003 you were talking about? Pantheon?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, NSCC 2022-003 and 801.
Yeah. Now, which one do you think is more important?
They're the same thing. So the 801 is basically the precursor. Typically that gets issued out for people to look at first, and then the actual rule comes after. In this case, which is very, very strange, and by the way, hi Jay Beebs1, I do see you in the chat. What's very strange about this is that we've got the precursor for it and then the rule itself both issued on the same date, which was April 12th. Typically, it's 60 days after it hits the register, or a specific date that's even further out where they say, okay, it's one of those two, the later of the two, for comment period. This one, they've given 30 days of comment, less than 30 days of comment period, because one of them, they were both put out April 12th on the register for comments. One of them comes off May 4th and the other May 10th, which is less than 30 days. That makes me believe, and again, I'm speculating, it makes me believe they're going to push this one through. I agree with Bigums that we should jump in and put our comments into the SEC register and voice our concern against it, but this is not a MOAS killer, in my opinion. And there's others who've agreed with me, including Lion Trader and others. It does help them, but like every rule that gets put in, none of them are good for us. They're all good for the people in the industry, right? But
Yeah.
But this, I don't believe this is a MOAS killer. And Astro did a really great video, which was he did a 3-part series on those rules, and it was video number 2, which is the one that's had the least amount of views. It surprises me. It's an excellent video. I think he summarized it very well in a 14-minute video. And I haven't made a video on it because I pointed people to that and said, please watch Astro's video. He said everything that needed to be said, in my opinion. Check out AMC Bigum's video on it. He did one as well. But those are going to come out of comment period on May 4th and May 10th, which is less than 30 days. I believe that they will, and this is going to be the key. Let's see for the receipts. Do they actually push that through immediately to the register? That's going to be the key. If it gets comments changed and goes through another comment review period, then my whole kind of thesis at the moment gets thrown out. But I believe they're going to push it through quickly, and we should keep an eye on that. And if that happens, then there's a nicer, bigger conversation that at that point I need to release at that point. But I'm not going to say it now because it's still tinfoil hat.
I'm still kind of curious what you're thinking, because I worry about the rules. Do you think they're actually putting these rules in to benefit us or to pretend they're doing something?
I think these rules are specifically this 2022 003 to 801. It's the same rule. This specifically is being in to protect the NSCC. I believe what this is, it's their ability to protect themselves in the future from this happening again. I believe they're going to, as Lou says, all matters must be settled. That's his phrase, right? I believe all matters will get settled. I believe they have to clean up the books with the upcoming transparency, with the phase 6 that's going to be the banks having to put up collateral, which now they don't currently have to. And that phase 6 comes in September 4th, I think it is, or September of this year. We've also got the central bank digital currency that is being fast tracked for a report through Project Lithium. Also comes out September 4th is the report due date. As you mentioned, we've got the CAT system. You just start looking at the story. What we'll do, Froggy Mediocre, after the stream's done and we go into the back room, I'll lay it all up for you. But I can't do it online right now. And it's something I'm going to do with Boss. Maybe we could do it all together at some point.
Yeah.
But I got to see the rule first. Does it get put into effect? That's going to be the key for me. And do the options chain stay dead? If those two things happen, I will have more to say.
See, I've been looking at that dead option chain thing, and that's kind of part of the reason why I brought up the no options May thing. And I brought that in because, like, I know how much money the market maker's making off of people. It's a lot. It's actually embarrassing. And the thing is when they take your money, they're not doing nice things with it. They're not like Delta.
They're using it against you.
Yeah, they're using that money to go and make max pain possible. And if they can't afford max pain, that's where we win. And you have to starve them out. That's just it. We have to be smarter than the market maker. Take the house money and because if you think about it, you could technically force the price to run up if you don't play the game wrong. That's just exactly how it's set up. When you buy in the money, like deep in the money calls, they have to delta hedge. If they can't blow those up, then they have to cover those. And then when they do that, that forces the price to move higher. If you don't even buy the options and you buy nothing but raw stock, it forces the price higher. You can win by force because their rules don't benefit them if they can't divide us up. If they can divide 1/3 of the community in puts, 1/3 into calls, the other third in, well, actually quarter. You got shorts, longs, puts, calls. If they divide us up like that, we're at zero. We go up and down none. We just kind of hobble around. That's it, because they split us up.
That's basically what's happening.
That's why they say they don't want you to collude. That's because if we work together, we'd pick a plan, which is drive it up, buy long, buy deep in the money, and force the price to go higher. And there's nothing he can do. It costs way too much.
Yeah, and I think to that point, my theory aside, the no options May idea is still a fantastic idea and should still happen. We should never just put our eggs in one basket, right? That's a good idea too, and I fully support that idea.
And I don't object to the people that know how to play options that are still playing options, because if you're making money playing options most of the time, you're taking the market maker's money. Go take that money. Because the more you hurt him, it's like a raid boss. We should be working on taking his money instead of trying to be greedy and try to make the biggest win of our lifetime. Because if you keep taking his money, eventually you'll squeeze him. And once he can't afford to hold it down, it should run. But at what number do we have to get to?
Well said.
What'd you say?
I said, well said.
But BioLife says, we have many eyes now. Retail has become stronger after a year and a half of digging. The problem for Wall Street is retail has so many various backgrounds that can dig into nefarious acts and get info out ASAP. And that's why they call this a meme stock, because we move information so quick that it's scary for them. And we need to take advantage of that. That's why I keep saying, the Paul Revere's of today, we could put out a meme and have it out like that. And that's what we want. We want the message to spread like wildfire. And that's what makes us dangerous. And that we work together. It's like that one picture where you see like a shark eating little fish and then the fish come together and go after the shark. It's the same idea. Staying united is the best way.
And it's also like
the predator here is the one and Viper with 8 Radio. Your part is the one and Viper's in here from 8 Radio. I do see Eric in here from AMC Ideals. AMC Ideals. He's in here along with the one and Viper from 8 Radio. Thank you, guys.
I just want to say also the 1348 is helping the community to basically learn to trade because it's a easier strategy to learn, and I think people need to try to learn some of that. You know, there's a lot of people teaching it right now, and I just figured I'd let people know, like, when you use that strategy and you play the rules that are set forth for that, you get a better win rate. You're taking money from them.
Now, my thoughts on the market dipping causing the squeeze, you figure every time their assets go down in price, they have to drive down the price of their liabilities. And AMC, GME, and all these short stocks, they're liabilities. So in order you have to offset it, or you'll have a collateral issue. And whenever you have that collateral issue, that's where the margin call comes in. So that's where I thought maybe if we had a crash, maybe they couldn't drop AMC quick enough, because every time it dips, we're buying like crazy. And if their main stocks are dipping and they can't drive us down fast enough, it might push them right into a margin call. And that was my thought on how it would roll out. But I mean, nobody wants to see a market crash, that's for sure. So we're kind of hoping we win it like fairly.
And we're seeing more and more institutions loading up on calls.
Yep, and that's big too.
That's big.
Now, in my opinion, they should be putting rules into place to make sure this type of squeeze mechanism setup that they got that's going to cause this issue should be prevented for future stock market, like the future market, because this thing is going to be so nasty, because it's not just AMC and GME, it's the whole market. And that's part of the problem. You look at, there's a lot of short stocks out there. One I was trying to bring it up with Casey Shaw this morning was, look at Twitter. It says it's like a 5% short stock, and that's next to nothing. But when you look at it, the stock, it came out like 8 years ago at $50. It's had like a whole bunch of positive earnings, and it's still $50. That doesn't make any sense. The only way they can hold it down is by shorting it. But it's only saying like 5%. That don't make any sense. I mean, there's no math that could support that idea. So maybe that's why Elon's targeting. It's giving us an idea. If somebody goes and buys out a company, they can possibly cause the shorts to cover. Because what Pantheon, I'm not sure if you know about this. I'll ask you this question, and if you know the answer, just chime in. But what happens to the shorts whenever Elon buys all the shares? Do they have to cover?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, because he's looking to take that company private after. So they can't just be left lingering that they don't have to be recovered. I don't know this for a fact. I have to put some more homework into this. But my understanding is that those positions have to be covered. And Froggy, when you brought this up yesterday in our private conversation on Twitter, you blew my mind on this one. I wasn't on top of this. So
now, me personally, I'm not a fan of Twitter. I don't want the stock. But I seen Elon go after it, and I still didn't want the stock. I still wanted DWAC. And like, I was right about DWAC. It did pop up after all. Like, it did that little dip thing first. I was kind of stupid, and I jumped out a little too early. I barely got back close to zero, and I
got
bailed
my
on
money
it
though.
and went to Twitter. Yeah, I should have held out for 2 more days. I've been good, but
I did.
I jumped into Twitter because I was doing some homework on it. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, and I looked at it. I'm like, well, you got Facebook trading at like $400 or $500 billion. And granted, it's a better platform. I mean, opinion-wise. And so I'm looking at Twitter, and I'm like, yeah, Elon's right. He can unlock the potential. And I'm like, why is it only worth like $40 billion or $38 billion? That don't make any sense. And So I'm just sitting there looking at the numbers and looking at things. I'm like, this stock has made nothing in 8 years. How is that possible? And I'm looking at the earnings. It's green, 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 one red, green, green. I'm like, there's no way. How has this been hidden all this time? And I'm like, what Elon did was basically, I mean, he bought every share. What would have happened to Volkswagen if Porsche would have bought every share and said, okay, exit? And that's pretty much what happened. They had less than 1% available, and it caused a massive squeeze. And they didn't take it private. They just bought all the shares, or like they locked it up. And Elon's doing the same thing, but he's buying all of them. So if they don't cover before he takes it private, like there's a problem with the lender. The lender gets what's the lender get? Somebody's got to cover that position before he takes it private.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I didn't want to say the final outcome of it because that was what you brought up yesterday. I don't want to steal your thunder, but I think you're absolutely right. And like the board of Twitter, when they were trying to resist Elon's offer, was completely hilarious when they started that, because they had a fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders to get the best possible price. And as you just said, their share price when Elon made that offer and pumped it up was the same price that it was back in 2013. So they basically had 9 to 10 years of the stock doing literally nothing. You could have shorted the company in the time and actually made more money. So for them to say that there was any better, unless a better offer came to light, and you know, what would happen with synthetic shares? What would happen with the shorts? That has to be dealt with, right? Because everyone who owns a share is going to want to get paid for that share. There's only so many shares issued. He's not going to pay for one more share than that.
Exactly.
Now I'll give you a couple like tips on the shorting side. Like I don't short, but I understand how it works. They don't typically like to short heavily on a stock that's over $50 billion. Well, Twitter fits that category. It's still like $38 billion. So what happened to Tesla before it squeezed? It was under 50 billion. Once they got up to that point where there was a breaking point, they let it go. And it crossed over, went over 50 billion and ran. So I'm thinking the same thing's happening with Twitter, and anybody would know that better would be Elon.
I think you're onto something. And I wasn't even on top of that one. You blew my mind when you brought this up yesterday. I think you're totally onto something.
We were backstage and he was showing me on the chart and I'm like, that's a good point, man. I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
not at all.
It messed me up when I seen it. That's why I jumped out of DWAC. I'm like, this thing's definitely going to go back up, because if it squeezes, like, how much does Elon pay? What if it squeezed to 100? What's Elon pay? 54.20.
The price he offered. Yep.
Yeah. So it's brilliant.
You're right.
No, I'm not saying it's going to get over that price, but they can't short it back down because they would be trapped in. So it wouldn't make any sense. Who's going to lend to them?
Ant card, we're not sure. It's possible.
I'm just kicking around like stupid ideas.
But I think you're onto something. Like, you're right. Elon's got an offer to buy X amount of shares for a certain fixed price. That's all the shares he's going to buy. If Froggy owns Twitter shares and they're not part of that, they're synthetic, let's just say that they're not part of the purchase, he can't be left with these shares in his account saying, well, what the hell happened? Nobody bought these shares from me. It can't happen that way. Elon's not going to put up the money for shares that were not actually issued by the company. So
exactly.
they're going to have to be a reckoning. Otherwise, this whole house of cards falls apart. And it gets completely exposed for how many synthetics there may be when you get potentially, millions of people, I don't know, coming forward saying, why am I not getting the stock purchased? They can't let that happen. That's how this whole thing starts to unravel. And I've been pretty consistent on my channel saying, I don't think that they're definitely afraid of us, the apes. They are. We know they are. They're trying every trick in the book to get us to sell our shares cheap. And I don't believe they're scared of us because of the amount of money that they're going to have to pay us. I think they're scared of us because of what we're uncovering, and it's much bigger than the meme stocks.
Well, they've been doing this for such a long time that the amount of shares that are floating around is probably way more than we should know. And I'm pretty sure the DTCC knows that. And if you notice, that's why the SEC came in and they went after Elon for it. It could have been free speech that they were trying to like slow down, but I think it's because I think he's going to cause some chaos in that purchase. And when was the last time you see a big company go private?
So Sub has the boss up here. Yeah, all Twitter longs will get 54.20 real or synthetic. Same thing as if there was a dividend. The company pays the dividend to the actual shares issued, and the people who have synthetics or whatever, they're going to have to pay those dividends. But the question of the shorts is different than that. And that's what's interesting, because they're going to have to close those short positions. I agree with you, Froggy.
Elon only pays for the float. The rest of them have to be covered by the brokerage or
That's right.
whoever is IOU in those shares. So that's going to be interesting on how that plays out. When does he actually like go into full effect on purchasing?
Last I heard was KC was talking about early May, but I don't know.
Oh, I hope so.
I think KC said May 2nd, but I think he came back and said he saw that wasn't maybe 100% real. Maybe someone in the chat can help us with that.
I tried to track it down. I couldn't get an ETA on whenever the deal was going to finalize. But there's like a small contingency thing in there. If he backs out, it's $1 billion like he has to pay. So you know he's going to go through with it. I can't see why he wouldn't go through with it. I mean, you get a social media platform. It's already loaded with people. He's already got a plan. He already mentioned it before about $3 to get a blue check mark. I would buy it just to support him. I mean, there is people leaving Twitter because Elon's buying it, which I think is kind of weird. They're going to go back to Facebook. It's like, that don't make sense. The only thing he could do is make it better.
Just having a little fun on Twitter for just a second. Did you see how the government now, or the Department of Homeland Security now wants to come up with a disinformation governance board? And And yeah, so it's kind of funny, like they're all upset about Elon buying Twitter, and now all of a sudden they're trying to come up with the Department of Justice to be the the Department of Homeland Security, is now wanting to come up with, do they even have the reach to do this is an excellent question, but a disinformation category led by a person who was the one who was saying the Hunter Biden laptop is complete FUD from the Trump campaign. And that's the person leading this disinformation service group. It's interesting to see what kind of powers this group might have. And is that an effort, tinfoil hat, is that an effort to try and deal with the truth that's going to come out on Twitter that's been suppressed? I'm interested.
I would say that is exactly what they're trying to do. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm with you.
That was a thought for sure.
That's the first time I heard that. So, oh my God, I can only imagine. But that's how they do it. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Carl Bloomgraham, he said, Rico's trade did a great job on showing the similarities of 2008 and now with the S&P 500 crash. He wanted me to bring it to your attention several times.
I did look at that with a bar chart pattern, and they do line up pretty close, but you can see that the Fed is still trying to like slow this process down. So the chart probably won't play out with the same length duration with the pattern. So as long as the Fed's in there pumping money in the back, I mean, they're going to slow this thing down, and it will look the same, but it'll be extended out over time. And I think that's what their goal is, to soft land a crash. And I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. I think when it goes, it goes. But they've been successful so far. And one of the rules is never bet against the Fed. I did the one time. I didn't know they were putting money in.
Yeah.
I bought.
Never bet against the Fed. I learned my lesson on that. You're right, Froggy. I like that one. Oh my God. They got me.
It was such a perfect setup, death cross, everything. And then the Fed's like, oops. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? We're going back up now?
Yeah. At a rapid pace, too. It wasn't even like it was slow.
So Froggy, he was showing a comparison of 2008 on the S&P to now from charts. Is that what he was doing?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to watch that. I haven't seen that. I've done a lot of history on research on the 2008 stock market crash and how the industry and the hedge funds played their roles within it. So this might be a good complement to that. I'll have to check that out. Rico's a good guy. But what's interesting about every time we've seen it was the 1987 Black Monday stock market crash, the 2008 mortgage-backed security crisis. We see these things, the government actions are always reactive. They don't ever be proactive. It's what happens to the banks and the institutions and the hedge funds that gives you the precursor of what's to come. And we saw last year, we saw Citadel and other hedge funds restricting their investors' ability to pull their money out. Some of them would take up to 4 years to get their money out in quarterly pieces. And you saw other hedge funds closing down. There's a bunch of things. I'm not going to filibuster on this, but there's a lot of similarities between all the crises and how the Fed has reacted to what we're seeing line up again. And it's like a broken record.
Yeah, you're right. They're reactive. Like for some reason, like even their indicators aren't even accurate. Like look at their inflation indicator, like 8.5%. Does anybody believe that that's all the inflation we have? I don't think there's one person that would agree to that. But they make stuff up and they put it out and they're like, here, trust me, bro, 8.5%. It's like, it's the most horrible thing I've ever seen.
So Johnny Moon says Rico was not the first. Tyler Wilson has been talking about it for a while now, which is what he meant.
Nice.
Yeah, I like Tyler Wilson. He's a smart kid too.
We'll check them both out. Doesn't he do mostly options?
Yeah, he's called Options Drops or something is his channel.
Okay. I'll go check that out.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I like that kid. He's got good info. The thing with him is he's the way he talks, people don't like it because he says if it's going to go up or down. So, he's going to tell you, well, don't look good. It's going to go down. People don't like that. I like it because it's honest. You know what I mean? So
BioLife says, so someone needs to do a SPAC with the play to buy AMC, probably take it private is what he's stating here. I will buy in. This is brilliant. Oh my God, mind blowing. I'm not saying that this is like confirmed fact or anything. Like just look into it. I'm trying to figure out what happens to the shorts whenever it goes private. I don't know enough about a company going private, especially one of this size. Even if he only takes it for a day, that's all he needs to do to cause problems. And the fact that Twitter said that you got to take it private, I think that was their stipulation. To me, that doesn't make any sense because doesn't that do more damage? I'm not sure. And they're definitely not on Elon's side.
Not at all.
No, they don't like Elon. The SEC hates that guy.
Oh, there's so many jokes about Elon buying like Doritos and Coca-Cola, Robinhood. I love it because like I even made one too. Let me see if I can find it.
That was pretty funny.
Question?
I didn't hear you, Ms. Harris.
Bobby has a question. Bobby.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Froggy and crew? I got a question for either you or anybody that wants to answer it. What do you guys think after the dividend stock split on GME, how high GME can go, GameStop?
Typically, whenever a price of that or a stock of that size gets split down, usually there's more attractive buying. It's a mental thing. People think it's actually cheaper. It's not really cheaper. It's the same price, and they'll buy into it. And that's since AMC was always cheaper than GME. That's why it ended up attracting more buyers because it was like the cheaper of the two plays, and that's why it got a lot more money, like cash flow, and it will become more attractive. I think it's going to pop up. I don't know how much higher, maybe 5%, 10%. I don't know, but it's definitely going to probably move.
Froggy, can I ask you a question
I'm
on
talking
this?
about squeeze, though. I'm talking about the squeeze factor in there, Froggy.
Oh,
Yeah.
The squeeze factor won't change. Like my projection will change. It will just divide down by that 3.3 number. And instead of where I was looking at it going, you'll just divide that by 3.3. And again, that's only a realistic number. It's not like that's guaranteed to be the number we get to. And yeah, Pantheon, the number we were looking at for GME was actually like 68,000 tops, 34,000 like a bottom number, and that's 2.5 trillion to 5 trillion, like as a range. And this would divide it down by 3.3. And like I said, because before when you looked at AMC where they were saying like 100,000 per share, that's $50 trillion market cap for one stock. That's impossible. So we had to go and figure out realistic possible market caps, and that's why we grabbed those numbers. It's not that that's exactly what we're guaranteed, but that's a realistic number, and we got to stay within reality and kind of hope for that.
Yeah, that's something I was wondering was, do a lot of GME shareholders, are they actually going to reset their number by, by a 3-for-1 ratio if this, when the squeeze is going to take place after the stock split happens? And I didn't think people would actually mostly do that. I thought people might stick to the same number because it's a short squeeze. It's interesting to think about. I know what you're saying about the overall number.
Yeah, hopefully people do realize you have to divide your end game number down a little bit. And that's just to hold it within that realistic market cap kind of thing. And who's to say I'm even right? What if it goes way past 5 trillion? I mean, I'm not saying it will. What if it stops short of 2.5 trillion? But the thing is you got to work with real possible numbers. And I mean, Al from Boston, when he was saying, I think it was like 500,000 per share or something ridiculous, that was just to get people to go over and click on his stuff and follow him around. And it looked like it worked, which is unfortunate. And you see how that ended. It wasn't really that good. He had a different agenda. I'm not sure if it was a bad one, but I mean, he got ran off just because of some of the stuff that he was doing. He probably wasn't supposed to be doing. But I don't even see my tweet here.
Pam the Trader is in the chat. I just want to say hi, Pam the Trader.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mediocre Trader.
No, we're good. Go ahead. I'm done.
No, I was just saying that the hedge from 8 radios up in here now, and the safe call the hedge from 8 radios in the safe call.
I had the hedge. Do they want to speak?
Guys. Oh, here's that one that I made. Let me pull this up here real quick. It's having a hard time finding it. It says, I see you bought Twitter. And he says, I'm buying the SEC next. Ginsler's like, bro. And he's like, add to cart. You see that, Pantheon?
Yeah, I like that. That's good. And Elon's been on fire on Twitter lately too. So it's been a fun it's been a fun time to be reading tweets.
Oh, he's like the best troll ever. And he's on our side. That's the good part.
I love that Dorito tweet. Next, I'm going to buy Doritos and fill the bag to the top.
Oh, that'd be a dream come true. I couldn't imagine. Open it up and you actually got chips in there.
I don't know.
The one through the sign, he's going to speak like when it's free. When the one's able to speak, he's going to speak for 8 free. He already threw up the sign for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I want to say something before the head speaks. I want to apologize for missing that show yesterday that we wanted to be at, Froggy. Spencer's space call we missed. We really wanted to be there. We apologize. That's all I'm trying to say.
Definitely distracted on that one. I forgot. I should have probably wrote that down a little bit better than I did. Should have put a Post-it note right on my keyboard here instead of writing down a note.
One said it's okay. He took the heart sign saying it's okay.
All right. Let him go.
Oh, you're not okay, Mediocre. Okay.
I'm just reading through the chat here to make sure I can get everybody here. Yeah, here's Super Steven. He says, never in our history has a soft landing worked in reference to a market crash. Yeah, they've all been violent. Usually a crash happens in different tiers. Like you get that people set stop losses. Market drops down, hits those, knocks those people out. What that does is it causes you got different things. Like you got too many puts that go into money, wipes out the calls. drives it down, basically creates like what the appearance of a gamma, but the opposite way, the bad one. So it's like a squeeze inverse kind of thing. But you also get margin calls for the people that are using margin on brokerage accounts that should not be. That's why AMC is called out to be a cash only play. So you don't get margin call when there's a crash. It's almost as if somebody knew that the market crash was going to be the proving grounds of why this stock doesn't go anywhere. Because if it crashed and there's margin calls on people in brokerages that are leveraged, we're not leveraged. We have raw stock. So when it goes down, options will get wiped out. Stop losses will get hit, and that's it. That's the bottom for us. So that's all we have to look forward to is that dip. And then once the market is still dropping, people are going to look at us as being a safe haven, kind of like gold. We should be like gold, but in theory, I don't think you could buy gold on margin either, can you?
I don't know.
Which is why it's important that people double check their settings and make sure online apps don't switch to margin accounts, because that has happened. You got to make sure your settings don't set to margin, even if you're not using margin. If you start a Robinhood account, I don't have one, but my understanding is that it instantly is opened up as a margin account, even if you don't use margin, which allows them to potentially sell your shares on you, right? So everyone, please make sure your margin, your account is not set to margin if you're not using margin.
Now, here's another thought of mine that I came up with too. Fidelity obviously is a safe haven for people. And depending on the amount of shares that you have, like there's some people that probably have 20 or 100, but according to the polls that I've seen, 50% of the people have over 1,000. So that blew my mind in the first place. Pantheon, you probably didn't know about that. I did a poll, multiple polls, and I was asking people if they had over 1,000 shares or less than 1,000 shares. You could do it right here on YouTube or Twitter. Both times there was about between 46 to like 50% of the people that came back saying they had over 1,000 shares. That blew my mind because Adam Aron said that the average investor had 120.
Right.
So when you think about that, if that plays out as the ratio across the board, and that's not counting whales or huge people with massive numbers, it kind of tells me there's a chance that we're way over the float.
I would fully agree. Like, what did Adam Aron's number come to? It was just over 100, wasn't it? Like 118 or something like that.
Yeah, it was real low. And here's the thing, though. When you get a proxy vote that comes back from the brokerage house, they don't tell you how many shares voted. They tell you 60-40. And then that goes back to a central area where they just take the ratio and figure, well, the whole float came back at 60-40. So this is how many we had here. This is how many we had here. And then they figure out how many voted. I think they tell how many voting people there are, and they divide that by the float, come up with a number, and it's obviously incorrect. And as you can see, Adam Aron said we had 90% retail own the float, while institutions own 36%. And that mathematically doesn't work unless there's another issue at play. And we already know what's going on. Have you looked into rehypothecation?
Yeah, if you're asking me, yeah, I've looked into that.
That right there, I guarantee, is the exact reason why we have way more than a float, because you could buy a share and then they can lend it to me. And then they can lend mine to Mediocre Trader and then lend his to you. So now you got two, I got one, he's got one, and we only paid for one. There's only one share and we all paid for the same one. And then they just pass it around until somebody turns off their margin account and they're like, oh, well, we'll go get another one share from somebody.
Right. And then they're borrowing as well through the CNS program. So there's actual legal ways for them to create these shares, but it's being taken advantage of. So the way they create these synthetics is legal, but they're supposed to offset it within the CNS program 1 for 1 at the end of the day, but they're not doing that.
Right.
That's what I'm sorry, go ahead.
And here's the next thing I want to add to that too. For rehypothecation sounds like another system that we know very well about, but nobody talks about. And it's also called fractional reserve banking. Same exact process where Pantheon has $1 million. They lend it to me. I put it in my bank, or I spend it with somebody and they put it in their bank. Then they lend it out to Mediocre Trader and they pass it around. Next thing you know, everybody's got like $2 million a piece, and there's actually only $1 million in cash holdings. And that's the problem. When we go and get the squeeze and we pull our money out to the banks, they don't even have your money. So when you go and start spending your money and doing stuff, the banks are going to have a problem with liquidity. So they have problems in the stock market with liquidity, and they got problems in the banking system with liquidity. And we're about to see the nastiest, weirdest thing ever in history. And maybe I could be just imagining this, but I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Pantheon?
No, I'm with you 100%. I think that, unfortunately, I think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better for the overall economy. I think that it's looking like everything's going to continue to head downward. You're right. If 20% of people tried to take money out of the banks would be out of cash. I mean, these are, and maybe I'm off on that number. I think that's what it is, but it's pretty crazy how this system is set up. And it's a simple process of buying and holding is something that they've never actually taken into account, which is fascinating of how simple of an approach can actually work. And Roaring Kitty was right on it. I know he also used options and there was gamma, and I get all that, right? I'm not trying to, pass that up, but just to be more oversimplified, yeah, I'm with you 100%. And I think that I think the MOAS is inevitable. I think everyone should be planning what you're going to do with your money, whether you want to buy. I've done a video on citizenship by investment from other countries to get a second or third passport that might be helpful in the future, depending on how many tendies you end up with. But people should be thinking really about what they're going to do in the future, where they want to be, how they take care of their friends and family and their loved ones, and start making those plans now. So when the tendies are in hand, you're not wondering, what do I do? You know what the play is, right?
Probably want to be in Florida on the beach somewhere.
That's where I'll be.
Because I was going to close down my OnlyFans account for a while and then just go play with the money.
Isn't Phil in Florida? Phil for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure,
He'd be a fun guy to hang out with. I like him.
Yeah. He's down there. I talked to him today. He's a good dude. Yeah, no, I'll be on a boat somewhere down there, I don't know. Maybe I'll be in the Keys. I don't know. I'll be somewhere down there.
Yeah, Gem Miner just brought up a point. They're trying to do away with secondary passports. They are. They're talking about those programs they're discussing them being potentially wrapped up, but it's not really clear. So I brought that up to people's attention to the moment we get our attendees, if it's still an option, I'm going to start the process. And once you start citizenship by investment, there's many, many places you can go to. There's Croatia, there's places in the Caribbean. There's lots of places you can choose from. And if you start the process, you get in before they stop it. That's the key, but it's all going to come down to timing. You're absolutely right.
Now, here's the question. Have you been out of country at all doing anything out where you have to go through their checkpoint system where they pat you down looking to see if you got too much cash on you?
No.
Okay,
I've traveled internationally, and I know the rules of $10,000 and your different currencies. Whatever country you go into, it's that exchange currency you have to be aware of. But I've never had anyone do that.
I was sitting there thinking, if these banks and hedge funds wanted to move money easy, what's one real nice, convenient system out there that allows them to take over large stacks of money without being seen? Bitcoin.
Yeah, cold storage wallet. You're right.
They go walk over somewhere, drop it off, come back. I don't know. That's kind of weird in itself.
People are probably thinking about that scene in The Wolf of Wall Street when they're taping the money to everybody. That was fun.
Yeah, this is going to be the wildest thing I think I've ever seen. I don't even think you can dream up this scenario where we're battling a market maker, hedge funds. We got the SEC that looks like they're not really trying to do, because they could have came in and stopped it, and they are part of the reason why it's being drawn out. I don't know if they're just trying to understand all the problems and fix them, but I don't think they're doing anything. I mean, all the grandfathered in loopholes are still there, and they need to shut those off. You were looking into the US dollar digital crypto thing?
Yes.
Okay, so I heard someone mention something about they were going to use that for possibly payment. And at first I'm sitting there thinking, that's a stupid idea. Well, who's going to want crypto, especially backed by dollars? It sounds like an IOU. then I thought about it for a minute, and I said, well, what would happen if there's no liquidity? They have to provide liquidity so they can give you basically IOU dollars, because that's what they would be anyways. If okay, so you got $1 million from your squeeze play, and they couldn't provide enough cash for all the people that squeezed this stock. Well, they got to give you an IOU cash, right? That's why they only want you to withdraw like $250,000 at a time. Well, what if they gave you a digital dollar, crypto, and said, here's your money, but all it is, it's pegged to the dollar. It's an IOU because they can't get the cash.
Yeah, so the central bank digital currency, which is different than that $50 billion coin people were talking about. The central bank digital currency, President Biden put in an executive order in March asking for a 180-day turnaround for a review of the how effective that could be. That has been started by the DTCC, called Project Lithium. And that turnaround time frame would be September 4th or 5th. It's one of those two, where the report would be at the end of the 180 days. Doesn't mean it has to take that long. It could be done at any moment, but we know as part of Project Lithium, they're also looking into how they could process the whole coin transactions through, and it would be handled in obviously a T+0 or same-day settlement, which would be ran through Project Ion. Project Ion is not currently released fully out yet. That's going to be Q2 or Q3. So they don't currently have a settlement process in the DTCC to handle that in the same-day transaction. So I'm expecting that Project Ion, which some people call Robot Godzilla, will be enacted Q2, Q3. That will then be in effect to handle the T+0 of the coin and T+1 of the stock market when that comes through. And then there'll be an overlapping between the T+2 for certain systems and T+1 for those who've jumped on the new settlement time frame. So I think like that's the thing. The Project Ion's got to be ready to go, which I believe that it is in my mind. Project Lithium's got to be done. They have to then put it up to the people that the report says we should proceed. Then I believe they're going to instantly turn around and say the coin's going to be enacted. And I feel that the markets going down and printing of money to settle certain stocks is going to be an easier way for them to explain the introduction of the central bank digital currency. But I'm not sure how it would play into settling with us, and that could very well be the case. I know KC's on that train as well, and it needs more interesting thought and process. I'm just letting the wheels grind inside my head, but I think it's all going to be connected.
Well, here's another thing too. Wasn't Cat Phase 6 supposed to come in September?
I'm
not sure. Tony Denaro in the chat talking to you guys. Tony Denaro in the chat talking to you guys.
Hi, Tony.
Hey, Tony, if you want an invite, I'll send you one over.
Hey, Tony.
Sorry, Froggy. What was the question, Froggy? I forgot.
I think I forgot. Give me a second here. Let me send Tony an invite, and then I'll figure out what I was talking about.
You want to give the one the chance to speak, or you want to wait?
You'd asked about CAT system. I think that was it.
CAT Phase 6 is supposed to go into effect, I think, September.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Because I marked it on my calendar at work because it's like another possible catalyst or whatever. And it's kind of interesting that that's the 180-day mark. And that's real ironic. And here's the thing. As we both know, there's not enough cash in the banking system to pay everybody out what they have for savings. So do you think the stock market has all your money over there too? Probably not. So one thing they could do is offer a, U.S. digital crypto dollar to back all them IOUs just to make sure that there's a pretend liquidity out there, because the physical's not there. So they can just create these coins out of thin air, claim they're backed, and say, here you go.
Right.
Keep the wheel spinning.
How would I take those coins and then pay off my mortgage with it? That's the thing I would have to, I don't understand.
Parallel currencies.
Yeah, because you're trading assets then, right?
So the bank would take those coins as they would take a dollar, and then so if they want to offload these coins, who do they give the coins to get dollars? They don't care. Is the point?
I think they're trying to do away with physical, period.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. they know that if there's $500 in my pocket, they can't control what I spend it on. But if it's a central bank digital currency, they can absolutely control what you spend that money on, or at least not, if not control, see every single penny and where it's spent. Absolutely.
So I'm not saying for sure that's what they're planning, but I thought about it. I said, we see a problem coming. We see that they're going to run out of cash. Once they repealed that Glass-Steagall Act and they allowed the banks to drain all the money down to like where they're in a pinch and they're not replacing it, now you got a problem. And if they back all those IOUs up with a digital crypto, that's the only way that they could stop from having like a bank run is, I mean, it's like the same thing as having FDIC insurance, but you really don't want to have to use that, because if you did, everything around you would probably be like collapsing, and
right,
by the time you would get paid out, it'd be a nightmare. And this looks like a preventative measure that they're putting into place. And I don't like it because of the track and trace part of it, but I do like it for the fact that, you know, it may save us from a catastrophe that could happen down the road. So it's one of them necessary evils, maybe. I don't know.
Gotcha. And Warren 4558's put an interesting comment where he's written, sticking with this theory, I feel like they'll charge us a conversion fee and slowly take their money back. That's definitely a possibility. I like the way you're thinking, Warren.
Guaranteed tax, because if you look at it, when you go to an ATM, it's like 2.5% to pull out $100. And with crypto, it doesn't cost much of anything because you're not really transacting anything but digits. So they could charge you a 1% fee instead of the banks getting that money. Guess who gets it? Good old government. So it just sounds like they're stealing from one monopoly and putting it in their pocket. And it's like, I look at the banking system as a monopoly because they all like work together anyways. Except for the credit unions. I think they're a little bit different.
Yeah, at least they're not members of the ISDA bank system.
Yep,
that's one thing.
That's exactly why I got out of my bank. I was in one of them larger banks, and I went to the credit union. I got 2 credit unions now, so just business account, regular account kind of stuff, and that's.
Oh, AMC Bigums would be so proud of you.
Well, after I heard him talking about all this stuff, I was like, there's no way I'm staying in a regular bank. And that's the first thing I did. I pulled all my money, popped over into the next one, and I was like, yep, done. Never going back to one of those banks again, because you figure the banks are part of the problem. And like, if you don't like what's going on in the market, you have to kind of basically boycott the people that are doing this to us. And starting at the banking level, that's the first step. The second step is to get to a good brokerage. I mean, like you got the Webull, the Robinhood, skeptical on the other ones just because they did remove the buy button, but get to a good brokerage, you know, and that's important. And I did think about the brokerage account thing too, where what's your thoughts on spreading out your money to multiple different brokerage accounts? So if there was an insurance issue, you still have extra insurance accounts, because that's usually what they do with cash, where you spread your money around in banks. So then if something happened, you'd be insured at multiple different banks. Would that be a good thought or not?
Well, yeah, I think definitely with the banks, it's 100%, because what is your limit there? It's 250,000 that's insured within each bank, within an account, not each account, but the person who's there. Here in Canada, it's only $100,000. So it's a very different situation. I agree 100% on the banks thing with cash. Spread it out where you can to protect yourself. With the brokers, I'm not currently spread out, but I'm in Canada, so it's a bit of a different story with my brokerage, which is tied directly to my bank, which I'm going to get out of eventually because it's an ISDA bank, and I can't move all of my assets now or risk missing mortgage payments or I transferred a pension fund from one financial institution to another, and it took 2 months when it was supposed to basically take a week. So I just don't want to risk missing, mortgage payments or anything like that. But as far as brokers go, if I was in the US, I would probably spread my shares out amongst a few in the event that there's a what do they call it? A cyber attack or something goes down or you have issues. I think that's a good safety move. I'm not going to be doing it here myself. It's a little bit different in Canada, but I may regret that. I guess we'll see.
I worry about the cyber attack thing too, because like I'm sitting there thinking, like, is your money safe anywhere? And I mean, I hope so. You know, what if we get this squeeze to go off, and then we try to put our money back in the banks, and like all the banks get hacked? Like, I'm not saying that's going to be possible, but you would think they have a better system than something that can be hacked. I mean, they've
Yeah.
been around for so long. Like,
And you know, that's all we're hearing these days, right? We're hearing all about cyber attacks, cybersecurity. Even the SEC's talking about it. So it makes you sort of pay attention when everybody's talking about it now, including the government. You know, that's why I'm going to be trying to move as quickly as I can into buying. And when I say that, guys, I'm not saying you've got a day or a week, or it's not going to be like that, right? But I'm going to have prepared places to purchase as far as physical assets like farmland and other things like that. I'm going to be loading up.
You
And
took
then
the
when
words right out of my mouth.
yeah, when things go haywire, you can either hang out with Mediocre or me. We'll take care of you.
Assets, guys, because assets they can't take it's something physical, right? Versus having your money in the bank. So this when the squeeze happens, that's one of the first things I'm going to do is search for assets to buy. I already have my eye on a few things I'm going to do anyways, but that's what you should start thinking about, like businesses, what type of assets you're going to want to have instead of the cash, right? The cash is good, but assets is, in my opinion, better, but not financial advice.
now I'm eyeballing silver for afterwards for like a physical investment, because like the only way you're going to squeeze silver is in physical. And all those people buying paper, if they get smart and sell that crap and go buy real physical, that thing would explode. And that's just the thing. I don't know how many people are holding on to paper silver and expecting magic to happen when they've been diluted at least 100 to 1. Like, those are IOU contracts for future if they ever mine that silver and it's not even there. It doesn't make any sense.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I couldn't have said that any better. I agree.
Oh, I've been following silver for so long, it actually kind of ticks me off to see that plays even on the market. That's the reason why silver is cheap, by paper dilution. And they could do it to infinity.
I've actually seen some speculation that the dollar, the U.S. dollar, if it doesn't get dissolved immediately, might and I don't mean like immediately, like now. I mean like as this all plays out, might end up becoming backed by silver. Speculation from some people. So it's an interesting thought. But silver is going to be huge. It's going to have a major squeeze. I believe in it too.
I think so too. I seen nickel. I've been calling nickel out for a while, but that was a whole different scenario. I called it because Elon was like begging for nickel contracts. He's like, anybody that's going to sell nickel for like 9 straight years, I don't know why I picked 9. He says, I will take every contract you got if you can keep the same price. And I'm just sitting there thinking, why is Elon going nuts over nickel? And then I looked at it. It's a component inside of his batteries to keep the corrosion down, so the batteries last for like almost ever. I can't say forever, but they last for like 50 years, and that's insane. And so I've been saving nickels, and like ever since then, I got like a couple $1,000 in nickel.
Nice. No, you're on top of it. That's good.
I got a lot of copper.
I got copper too. Yeah.
You got big coils in your backyard.
Yeah. That's a plumbing joke, I guess.
Yeah. We used to always look at. I'm in the architecture construction industry, and they'd always joke about that this big coil of copper wire is going to end up showing up in somebody's backyard with a blanket over top of it. They'd always it was just a joke, but they took that serious with security. Yeah, you're right.
I've heard of wires over here getting stolen that are so big I can't figure out how they got them. Like, there's an amusement park over here, and it's like I'd say at least a quarter mile long one direction. There's a copper wire that goes like the full length of it. Somebody ran that thing out the front door. I don't even know how, because those are heavy. I'm thinking they had to just like hooked it up to a truck and reeled it in or something. It makes no sense how it happened. Because you know how heavy copper wires are. The big ones that are like probably about 1.5 to 2 inches.
Didn't they have a storyline on? I'm making a fun joke, but Friday Night Lights, the TV show, didn't they have a storyline where the two brothers went and stole some of those big rolls of copper? Anyways, I shouldn't have said that. I'm just having some fun.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, there's people that do that. They go into houses and stuff. It's like crazy just for copper. But yeah, I think the metals market's going to explode. I think they've been suppressing it so long that if things play out the way I think it's going to play out, where the market actually crushes, like if JP Morgan gets blown up, I'm pretty sure he's one of the paper holders on silver, because he owns a pile of physical, and he's been known for manipulating the market over there.
That's Diamond, right? Jamie Diamond? Yeah.
They say he's brilliant, but I'm sitting there thinking, like, how's he brilliant? He's more of a criminal. Like, but, I mean, he owns so much silver, and it's from the paper dilution. That's why the price is even down. The Hunts brothers came in, I think it was in the 80s, and they bought like $4 billion in silver, and it drove the price up to like 44 or something like that. If they did that with $4 billion, can you imagine what would happen after a squeeze and everybody was like, hey, let's go buy physical?
Wow.
I mean, that would be nuts. Has to be physical, though.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree. You can step. Sorry.
Yeah, heads are the one. If you guys want to speak, the floor is yours, guys.
Well, Bobby, you can speak now, sir.
Oh, you had a beep going on there, Ms. Harris.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's going on, man?
Yeah, I know Morgan Stanley is supposedly in trouble. Is that going to affect E-Trade? I hope I have a pretty good position in the portfolio with E-Trade. Is Morgan Stanley going to affect that, or is it going to get bought out? But do you know?
I'm not sure. You weren't very clear. I couldn't hear what you were saying.
I'm under the impression that Morgan Stanley owns E-Trade Financial. That's where I have my portfolio with. Is that going to affect E-Trade because are they supposed to be going under Morgan Stanley?
I'm not sure. That's going to be one that I worry about, because, like, I do have an E-Trade account, and I got out of there too because I don't trust them. And I don't know if they're going to be a part of the problem during the squeeze or not. So, I mean, I don't know how to even say anything on that one at all, but I would be cautious. The one, you're next, man.
Okay, now let me go one. Just wait. I just want to say something quick. When Froggy, you talking about the banks, listen, my sister knows absolutely nothing about the financial system. I got her to buy stocks, AMC, and I was talking to her the other day, and she said, yeah, I took all my money out of the bank. I said, what? Yeah, because she's in the medical field, and all these people are telling me this and this and this and this and this and about AMC and GME and this, and she went and took all her money out of the bank, and she put it. She's got a safe, and she's got it in the safe. She said, I don't trust nobody, and that's my sister that doesn't know nothing.
Hey, that's actually a smart idea. Like, I try to keep as little in the bank as possible. I've been using AMC as my savings bank or my savings account, so all my extra money goes into it.
Yeah. So yeah, big banks are bad. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks.
Yep. Thanks, man.
Thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Appreciate that. So what's going on, man?
Oh, not much.
Show. Listen, don't worry about yesterday. It was, it's not. There'll be a couple more. I think he's going to come in. We're going to have a couple more things to discuss with the guy. So it was a really good conversation. It was. We all got to learn a lot about him and about us and how we can help him going down the road. So that'll be good. And if you're going to be around tonight, 7:30, Ape Radio starts up at 8 o'clock tonight. We're going to be doing Ape Family Feud. You do not need to have your family join. We're going to pick teams. Hopefully we'll have enough people to where we can do 5-on-5, a couple different rounds, and we're going to have prizes at the end of the game. So it'll be a good night tonight. After a nice crap week, we're going to have some fun tonight on Nate Radio.
That sounds good, man. I like it.
Keeping it real in the field.
You guys were packed. I see the space call was packed this morning and last night. When I went up in there, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, was somebody put an alarm on and I didn't get it, or what was going on?
Well, you know,
I think a lot of people are wanting to get out of the real life and then just go relax. You know what I mean? That's all it is. We just want to relax. It has been a crappy week. And then at nights, you know, we try to have a little bit of fun. Okay, we've been serious for the past few days, but we have to be because there's certain things we have to take care of. Other than that, we have a great time. Everybody's one huge community of togetherness. Everything is love, and you know, just come out if you want. Yeah, except the ones I blocked.
All right, I'll come in tonight.
I love you.
Yeah, that's Ape Radio, 7:30 tonight, in about an hour and a half from now. Everybody check them out. They always do good stuff over there, so check them out. I wanted to welcome Tony Denaro to the show.
Hey,
What
Tony.
is up, guys? Sorry, I got your invite, and I was just waking up. I've been working like 20-hour days for the last 2 days, so I canceled my afternoon live stream and tried to recharge the batteries, and then got your invite, and Restream wasn't working. So anyways, here we are. Thank you for having me. I did listen in on my iPad and caught up on everything you guys said. Loved what I heard that you've already covered in the last 2 hours. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, it was kind of ironic that you said that you were having issues with the Restream. Pantheon said he had to re-sign back in to get in, which I thought was kind of odd.
Well, here I am. At any rate, I got it figured out.
Cool.
Hi, Tony.
Howdy, howdy.
How are you? You actually sound like you just woke up.
I was, my batteries were completely depleted. You guys, you know what I'm talking about. It's been some long days.
Did you get some sleep?
I got about a 1.5 hour nap. Good to go now.
That's good.
Now, Miss Harris, you want to mute your mic over there? There you go. No, I figured why I got you here, Tony. We'll do a formal apology while everybody's here. We did last night talk about everything, and we all came to the same conclusion that everybody here, we're all on the same page. We want the same exact thing. And I want to apologize to Tony for the things that I did say to him. Like we were wasting our time and energy battling each other, and we should have been focused on the subject at hand. And that's my fault, and I apologize.
Yeah, thank you for that. Really, for me, an apology is not necessary. I was just trying to ask for information. I understand you guys are passionate about this, and I understand why. And I'm glad we were all able to come together and sort that out and get on the same page moving forward, and for everybody's benefit.
Yeah, very important. Yeah. The community needs everybody, and I think that. We should have handled ourselves a little better, and I apologize for that as well.
Yeah, and like I was saying before, part of it's our fault because we were trying to hold the information back to go and do our own investigation, and we should have probably brought more of it to the forefront. Probably just went straight in the back room and talked about it instead. That would have probably made a lot more sense.
Water under the bridge, as far as I'm concerned. So moving on. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Okay, let me apologize to you, Mr. Tony Denaro. This is big when it's coming from me to you, Mr. Tony. I want to apologize to you for today. I had no right and no business to on your chat today. What I said today to the girls or the boys, I don't know who they are. I apologize for that, for disrespecting your chat, interrupting your chat. Please forgive me, sir, from the bottom of my heart. And trust me, it will not happen again. God bless you.
I appreciate you. You know, everybody loves you, Ms. Harris, and trust me that I saw it was said it didn't even get a 1 out of 10 on the worst that I've seen on my channels. No worries.
Is there anything else you'd want to like add to some of the subjects that we were talking about? Because I know you know a lot about all these different subjects and stuff.
Is there anything else I want to add? I would say to everybody, chill out on all the content creators, and everybody's working. For those of you that haven't been privy to the conversations, the other channels, just give us a chance. Everybody's working on it. Be patient. More information to come.
Yeah, I agree. With that being said, I mean, I was going to wrap things up here and give everybody a chance to close things out and stuff, and then we can go backstage and talk about more stuff.
Hang on. Ant Card wants me to apologize to you guys. I will apologize. I was just coming in Froggy's chat asking for information, but if you guys feel like an apology is warranted, I absolutely will apologize to anyone in Froggy's comments or Froggy Mediocre. I told Froggy yesterday, I love you guys. I forgive all of the passion, and I understand where it was coming from. I didn't make any video specific about anybody, so. But absolutely, look, we all have the best intentions. I love you guys. I hope there's no hard feelings, and heartfelt apologies to everybody.
And I just, what I was trying to say, Tony, if I can just say, Tony doesn't owe me an apology at all. He never said anything to me about me. The other stuff, you know, had nothing to do with me. And so I don't need an apology from Tony. And I'm good with that. And I'm happy with everything going on. So I'm getting a message right now also. Casey Shaw wants to know if we did a video yet on removing the infected part of the WebEx.
On removing it? Not yet.
All right. So we need to do that because I just got a message about that just now. I'll tell you guys by who after, but I don't want to release the name of the person now. But also, Jay Portuguese was removed from the WebEx server for anybody who wants to know. And into the Wolfpack, if anybody in the Wolfpack needs a place to go, you're welcome anywhere you want to go in the community. There's no hard feelings. There's nothing against the Wolfpack members themselves. Wherever you want to go. My Discord's open. Froggy's, I'm sure Tony Denaro's is. Boss Ones, where Pantheon goes a lot. Casey Shaw's. There's many. Go where you want to go. And if you'd like, I'll even create a room specifically for you guys, a specific channel where if you want to go in there, you can go in there.
And for the Wolfpack ones that I did block, the only ones I did block were the ones that I seen that were saying mean comments, like hateful comments. And if you had a change of heart and realized that you were on the wrong side, you were being kind of shanghaied on it. I don't even know if there's a term I should be using here. But if you were tricked and now you're starting to see the light, send any one of us a message. Let me know, and I'll unblock you and let you come back in. I didn't block everybody, only just the ones that were saying bad things, and that was pretty much it. So I get it, you know, like maybe you were just being loyal to the one person you thought and made a mistake. Things happen. So, but with that being said, I'm going to probably wrap things up here. Ms. Harris, you want to close things up over there?
Yes. Thank everyone that's in the chat. I want to thank all your partners. Thank you so much to Juan, the head, Viper, Jordan, Lady Katie from APESVSWALLSTREET. Appreciate everything you guys do. Appreciate you. Mediocre Trader, you're phenomenal. Thank you. You always have an ear when somebody has something to say. You have that ear when you'll sit there and listen, and you're willing to help. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. People that's in the safe call, if you have not already liked and subscribed already, to Froggy's channel or the Mediocre Trader's channel, please like and subscribe. You also learn. He's also going to teach you the 1348 trading. The gentleman, I forgot your name, who I'm supposed to tell Froggy about. Say something in the chat so I can tell Froggy about it. I forgot your name. All those are in here every single day, like the Detonator, Rick Rodriguez, Mark Collister. Thank all you guys from the bottom of my heart. And Blue Boy 77, you're in here, you rock with Domby. You guys all rock. Jay Portuguese, that is my son. That's like my son. Appreciate everything that you do. Appreciate you. Now, to all the partners, forgive me. Please forgive me if I was rude to you. I hope I wasn't disrespectful. Please don't say I was disrespectful. Did you feel like I was? Forgive me. Pete Diaz, I know you by Pete. I don't know you by Diaz. I've been knowing Pete for a long time. He said I was ignoring him. He may be right. But Pete Diaz, please forgive me. Please forgive me. I'm giving you your props. And that gentleman named Carl, I think it's Grim. I think the other guy's name is Mike, Millsap, and the other one is Jay Carr. Appreciate all you guys. But listen, you guys want to become. Oh, what happened? What happened?
What do you mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. My ring. That was my ring. That's my ring. Okay. All you guys want to become a member of the channel for only 16 cents a day. 16 cents a day. 16 cents. Because you want to, when the squeeze happens, you want to be able to ask questions. You want to. They can get you where you need to be with that money indicator. People will do trading one-on-one with you with stock options, calls, puts, strikes, whatever you want to do. Froggy, Mediocre Traders willing to get you there and help you with that. If they can't help you, trust me, one of their partners, Tony Denaro, who's been in the market for 50 years, for 50-something plus years, all them guys are here willing to help you. Java, I don't know what you're doing or where you're at, but you need to rest. God bless you. Everybody, like and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend. God is good. God is good. I appreciate y'all. And as my son would say, that knows the routine. Dubs up, we out. So you, Froggy.
I'll let Tony talk about his experience here.
I always say 30 plus years, but I'm lying about my age. I really am 95, not 79. So Ms. Harris is technically correct. 50 years.
I'm sorry about that, Tony. I'm so sorry, sir. No, I wasn't damn.
I increase my age at least once a day by a year, so you're probably good. It's probably about 50, but the real number is over 30.
Not me. I'm too young. I'm sorry. I had to.
Yeah, Tony, Pantheon, either one of you guys want to go ahead and close it up too?
I'll let the Pantheon God be last. I'll just say thank you for having me on. I'm glad we were able to close the loop and share some DD last night and move forward from here. And screw the hedgies.
That's right.
Let's support that.
100%.
Yeah. So thanks, Tony. I want to also say thank you very much to Froggy Mediocre for the opportunity to come on here and have this conversation today. It's what's best for the community. That's what we all want. I really appreciate that, guys. We're all good, guys. Everything's good going forward, and we'll do better communicating more effectively with each other going forward. I think that's going to be a big help. And now I've got some homework from you guys. I got to do a little bit of looking into Ernst & Young, and I'm also going to take a deep dive into the Archegos Deutsche Bank. They had their offices raided. So, and that's one of the banks that was deeply into Bill Huang. So do a bit of a deep dive into that too. But thank you, gentlemen, very
Twitter.
much.
Don't forget about Twitter, Pantheon.
I got a big weekend ahead of me. Thank you, gentlemen.
Listen, I just want to tell everybody, appreciate everybody coming into the chat, and I'm glad that we got this worked out. Honestly, I really I am grateful for that, because there's a lot of valuable information from everybody in this chat and on this panel, and I respect these guys. Believe me when I tell you they have good information, and so I'm glad that we had a conversation last night, and more will come out later on. Jay wanted me to release what I already released in this video, so there's also that, and don't forget to, if you're not a member to anybody on the panel, don't forget to like and subscribe to their channel, and hop on over and do Froggies as well. Dead Froggy.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming. We got the one, Hedgie, Tony, Pantheon, Mediocre. I mean, it's great to have everybody always here working together, and I'm pretty sure we'll be doing this more often, because, like I said, we all have good intentions, and we're looking out for what's best for the community. And I want to thank everybody for coming, because I do appreciate everybody for being here.
Eric Stanley, I forgot about him. He's the AMC. He's AMC Ideals. Eric Stanley, AMC Ideals. The one you're supposed to pronounce that. He's AMC Ideals. You can always check me with the one. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Froggy. And this is going out to Hayden. Hayden J. Realtor. God bless you, sir. Hayden J. I may be ignoring you sometimes, whatever. I appreciate everybody, seriously, guys. I really do. What made me think about all this was when Froggy and them made amends. If they can make amends, we all can make amends. That's what I have
Can
to
I say one thing? One thing?
Yes.
Mr. Stanley!
Okay. Come on, Froggy.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming. I enjoyed this time with Pantheon. Tony, I'm sure we'll get our time to dig into something, but you probably definitely need to get some sleep. You seem like you're still tired, aren't you?
No, I'm up for the rest of the night now. I got 90 minutes sleep. That's good to get me to 2 a.m. So there's more coming. Check your emails. Check your
definitely.
Twitter. Check your DMs.
But yeah, we'll be definitely getting back together. We got more stuff to do, and it's gonna be nice that we all work together. And I'm gonna thank Pantheon, special guest here, and Tony. So I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good night, everyone, and peace.
Good night.
Yeehaw. Yeehaw.